and integration. Reality, that which exists. The most depraved you can now utter is when you ask, whose reason? The answer is your reason. Your mind is your only judge of truth. Man's reason is his moral faculty. A process of constant change is the answer to the question. In the beginning, the question is this right or wrong? A rational moral process must take shape. Devotion to truth is the hallmark of morality. There is no greater, nobler, more heroic form of devotion than the act of a man who assumes the responsibilities of thinking. Directly from Atlas Shrugged. You who have signed up to be the enforcer, to be the cop, have lost morality because you've decided to turn off your mind and to stop thinking. All critical thought has left your vessel, and it's been replaced by your selfish, self-centered looting and robbing. The people who pay your paychecks.
Right, fuck slave.
You have lost yourself.
I couldn't take it anymore. I went out to hit the reefer, and I could still hear him from the door. What are you not getting about you are them, they are you? Everything that exists here is a mirror of the other. You gave your rights away by going into contract for benefits and privileges on the record. Why is this so difficult? I know why. Because you don't want to let your grift go. You don't want to stop selling hopium to the dumb voting tax-paying slaves. You don't want to lose half or 3/4 of your audience being crazy like Paulie Boy. He's crazy. He's crazy for not paying the federal slave tax and for at some point walking away from all of it. He's crazy. He won't vote for a master. He's crazy. He doesn't believe statute, policy, and code is law. Wild stuff. Weird, wild stuff. We need to like reanimate Johnny Carson's body just so he can fucking say weird, wild stuff that Paul enslaved. Yeah, I'm so out there. And you guys just keep whining in your feelers and doing revolution, complete circles, not seeing the point and how this is all happening and how to get out of it. It's not going to happen the way you all envision it. There's not going to be any kumbaya, V for Vendetta moment where everyone puts the masks on and meets at the local park and gathers together to understand. No, we're going to world war and civil war again and economic collapse because you slaves can't see the loop within the loop. You can't understand cause and effect. You can't understand contractual law and spiritual law here and overworld and underworld. You don't have it's not being double-minded. You folks are double-minded. This is dualistic in your discernment and your ability to see the dual reality that we occupy and then go beyond it. There's a third state of vision, right? Folks don't have it. You look, you don't see, and then you start explaining how shit works based on what you can't see and understand. And it sounds like nothing but chaos and controversy and foolishness. So when you correct your status and standing and you show up at court, put yourself on record as a man of the people, and you distinguish by asking them, like I did, how many jurisdictions this court preside over, and keep yourself in the common law, constitutional jurisdiction, and be clear, 10th through 14th Amendment, there's no breach of the peace. There's no threat to any other member of the public. So we don't have a case here legitimately. Once you distinguish and delineate who and what you are versus what you're not and how you're going to move forward, we might get some fucking results here. We might not. We might just be too deep in to where 50% of this country doesn't fucking wake up like yesterday and put themselves on record and forego their benefits and privileges like the freak said. I've paid into my slavery so long, I'm not leaving till I get what's owed to me. The dummy doesn't realize what's owed to him is the slaughtering. You fucking retard. You've paid into your own genocide and slaughtering, and you won't leave till you get it? Well, you like it. I love it. I didn't. I stopped. I'm not a part of it any longer. I will not co-create with it. I don't need to. Why would I? I'm bigger and better than that. The force of creation is bigger and better and beyond the shaitan who you all think has all the power in this realm, you fools. One comes before the other, not the other way around. So you got tricked right out of position. And your benefits and privileges amount to you becoming the sacrifice because you wouldn't sacrifice for truth. Isn't that special? You like it. I love it. It's part of the simulation game here. It's how we go to the next level. Accepting life on life's terms and what is. Not projecting onto life's terms what we want it to be and don't want it to be. That is the road to ruination and foolishness. That is the antithesis of faith and truth and discernment. Greetings, Mr. Brian O'Shea. It's good to see you. I was concerned about what you had going on, but I also allow you to be free and do your own thing. I understand that an attempt to control can kill. So I try to stay away from projecting and presuming and assuming. I rather presume that you are doing okay and that you're showing your wild oats and, finding more of your own faith and doing that on your own time. And there's nothing necessary for me to have you here, right? I enjoy having you here, but I don't need to have you here at the detriment of whatever your walk is. I prefer you find yourself, create yourself, experience yourself on whatever level fulfills you, with me or without me. So I want you to know that, because I was thinking of you last night as well. I was going over the list of folks and experiences that I've had here. Your thoughts, Brian O'Shea, in general, if you have any?
Yeah, I kind of want to get locked up with DeCastro just so I could be face to face with him. And
don't wish for that, man. You don't really want that. Don't start popping shit online that you really don't want to stand on. I mean, if it happens, because you got the same judge, apparently, the same administrator, magistrate. So if it happens and it's meant to happen, then it'll happen. But, I wouldn't tempt fate.
Look, Brian's got to win anyways. Why not make conditions of his win? Says, listen, I don't want you, you need your pound of flesh. So listen, I'll volunteer to go in, but the conditions are I have to be DeCastro's cellmate and I have to be able to live stream for 1 hour every day.
Right. You can say, as a friend of the court, regardless of how this turns out today, if I do wind up being deemed that I will be incarcerated as a surety for this fictitious entity that you all have charged, one of my conditions I wish, as a friend of the court and as an emissary of the enslaved one, is that I be housed with Mr. DeCastro as a co-trustee in order to enlighten him, counsel him, and bring him to where he's meant to be spiritually, with the help of the dark forces, the tests, the challenges, and the shaitan, of course, the deceiver. It works if you work it.
When you say the dark forces, are you talking about black people in there?
Well, there's multiple, I guess, if you're going to use that metric, there's multiple aspects of dark forces. But no, I wasn't specifically talking colorism. I was talking spiritualism in the sense of who or what at this time certain folks are representing or playing the part of.
Yeah, what I would do is immediately walk up and just take a big whiff of his hair. Just
sniff him like Joe Biden, let him know who's in charge. Let him know who the commander-in-chief is.
I'll take a big whiff and then say, don't tell Jamal what I just did.
Yeah, you just lean right in on DeCastro. Yeah, smells like bitch. How long you been in? Smells like pussy. How long you been here? Oh, man. Hey, man, at the end of the day, you can't do what the fuck we do on any level, presuming he does what I or anyone else does. I'm sure we all overlap at some point. You can't do what we do and not expect to go do time at some point. It just is what it is. You don't have to make that true for yourself, but, you shouldn't be shocked if and when that finally happens. It's kind of part of the game. It's like being part of an outlaw biker club or any other organization. I'm not saying I'm part of an organization. They're saying that. But ultimately, when you work with this truth and you uphold the true law and true love and true care and natural rights, they consider that activism. So typically what happens to activists is they get killed or go to jail, right? So you have to kind of accept that potentially is part of the walk for some folks at some time. Don't kid yourself. And I mean, you could argue that with any profession or any field where there's a lot at stake and a lot on the line. You almost have to accept that as part of the game. Go ahead, Tribe.
Well, how can they be using your name in vain? If you didn't contract to do something and you didn't give permission to use your property, which is your name, and all of a sudden it's appeared on these charges or causes of action that would cause maybe injury to you, especially to your reputation, your good standing in the community, and your career as a
That's comedian. What makes your reputation and good standing in the community. I'll give you the same overlay. It's the same idea. I don't care if you're in a biker gang or pushing drugs or whatever else. We're not engaged in criminal activity. We're talking about lawful, righteous behavior. But the same thing applies, oddly enough. This is what the code of honor is in any venue. So you're not made as a person until you get locked up. You're nobody until somebody kills you, right? Wasn't that the song? So you only get to where you're going by killing, dying, or going to prison. That's what makes a man in those realms, right? You can argue for better, for worse, or is there some validity to that, or is it all a prideful overlay? I'm just telling you what it is. So when you do what's true and what's right, and you say you do it out of conviction for God, like the Christ it being a scripture, and you're upholding natural rights and a spiritual principle, you don't get made. Your story don't get made until you go to prison or until you get killed. That was the whole point of that story. That's what separates that being like that from the rest. They won't do what's true and what's right, just knowing what's going to happen. And if they do what's true and what's right or follow their conviction and they're met with any kind of resistance test or challenge, they fold. That's the difference between a man and a coward and an infidel. I don't care if you go to the middle of the fucking desert right now in the Middle East. They're going to tell you the same thing. Oh, you want to talk Allah? You want to talk God? You want to talk the infidels and terrorism and all the rest of it? You ain't nobody until you fucking get put in a prison or until they kill you. That's the whole idea what martyrdom is. You can talk all that high-powered shit and act like you're somebody. We want to see how you operate under pressure. We want to see what you do when your life's on the line. That's where you're made or broken.
Yeah, and at the same time, there's some cultures that would be using that to more or less of a degree. You know, I mean, the keeper of a man is one of the greatest evils to participate in. So the less of that and the more of the courtroom drama, which Brian should hopefully be able to succeed in as well, I think is a better venue for our health and wealth and everything else that goes with our existence here. That being said, yeah, I think, you know, from what Brian, I know, are you listening, Brian? For what I get here is that you've been, you're in a position here for a reason. There's some type of mirror effect of what's going on here. Is it a coincidence that you're in the same district with where Chili is now and supposedly the same judge and similar charges, right? So at this point, you know what doesn't work. So how are you going to formulate a totally different approach that would break down any of those presumptions that you already see would stand on their side?
I believe it's potentially a synchronicity, and I believe it's possible that Brian O'Shea is going to walk the fuck out of there somehow in a completely different turn of events than what we've seen with Chili DeCastro. I believe it's totally possible and potentially what is being written right now, whether we know it or not. That he may not decide to present at that court. If he does decide to, there's a good possibility you're going to actually see what happens when somebody is following their conviction and their heart and stands on that and is not belligerent and combative. I think that story is potentially already in the mix and already being written. And part of it's going to come down to the way Mr. O'Shea presents himself. But again, would it be something uncharacteristic if Mr. DeCastro, the constitutional law scholar with millions of dollars, got a 180? And then a poor, broke, piss-drinking hobo who's listening to a guy from a tent winds up walking the fuck out of there with a completely different outcome? It's going to teach you a lot about how God works in faith, I suspect. But let's not get a big head. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? There's a good chance that everything can turn out the same. We know that. So we got to give it up to faith and do the next right thing. But I've seen enough to know potentially how this universe and how God works, and how it likes to fuck with everybody's ego and beliefs about what power and value and truth really is.
Yeah, and I think the results here and the successes you've seen here on this environment, this platform right here is really, I would say, it demonstrates the validity of what you're saying. I would say that, Brian, you need to consider that whole effect, what he just said there, because that's the foundation of how you have to run this case. And I would say I'm cautiously optimistic that it'd be an easy win, but that's just my opinion. You know, of course, I don't give lawful legal advice or anything like that here on YouTube.
Right, but you've already had a validating interaction at court yourself, Tribe, where you played the guy pretending like you were an idiot. He didn't know what you were talking about. And by the end of it, he's dismissing the case because he knows he can't go to trial. He's going to lose. I don't care how much you front, how much you stunt and act out and yell, or how much you pretend I'm the biggest idiot in the room because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not moving. I'm not budging. So let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get to trial.
Well,
they don't want to do it.
When the facts stand, what need is there of words? Oh, shit.
His fucking phone died. Look, there's the Mitch McConnell freeze, the iconic freeze. Oh shit! He's frozen in time, eternally. Well, that's it. We'll never see him again. He's been frozen in time eternally. Imagine there's a movie like that where they finally sync us up with the phone, and when the phone dies, you die. Coming this winter, what happens when you're linked up to a phone and the phone dies and you die? We'll find out. This summer, we give drop calls a whole new meaning. Go ahead, Brian O'Shea.
How to protect yourself from home invasion by changing your camera angle.
How are you feeling about this court interaction?
My potential one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, everyone wants to talk about, oh, you got to go in there and talk right to win, and it's just, I mean, it could be something to that, but in my main thing is just having a conviction in myself, and just they're so fraudulent and just ass backwards that I'm not, you know, it's not like I'm going in there, oh, I'm going to say this, and this, and then that's what's going to get me out. No, it's like, there's no loss or injury or harm.
Brian, DeFreak is giving us clarity right now, and this applies to both of us. You're the most hated and despised person in society. Mid-aged, white male, loser, privileged, with no regard for law. No, that's you. Again, you're doing the thing like this is why you resonate with Talcott, because you're doing the inversion, perversion, the perception, deception. Right? You're saying everything that you are is me. That's you. You're the middle-aged white male loser who's privileged and entitled in your statute, policy, code system, and you have no regard for the law. Just beg for mercy from God and be done with it, you slave. Stop projecting that onto me, please. It's embarrassing for you.
Yeah, the optics of this fucking scoundrel, dude. It forced me to bring up fucking slow state, but it's like,
yeah, he's talking to you now, he's saying. Not me, but you. If it applies to him, it applies to me. And again, it doesn't apply really to either of us at this time more than it applies to you. So I'm going with that's you for my official answer. How is Brian privileged at this point? He's living in Illumina and he's riding around doing comedy, pursuing his passion and chasing a dream. And he's not complying with statute, policy, and code beyond what he believes is necessary in order to retain his freedom and personal choice under the law. Whatever you just said applies more to you than it does to him, just so you know. I didn't know Paul has charges. Could you get the fuck up here and talk like a man, or I'm going to throw you the fuck out? Tired of you bitch ass, inauthentic corporate male slaves taking up space in my chat area. Just hollering shit out. Chat versions of hollering out, crying out to God and the God of all media. Get your shit together. Let's go. We were here yesterday. We had conversation. We've done it before. Every day's a new day with you people, and it's like you've never been here before and don't know what the fuck needs to happen. It's Special Class 101. All right. I'm throwing him out because he's doing it purposely. They're passive aggressively keep typing when I ask them not to and come up here, only to make me block them so then they can come up here and go, what was that about in chat? You blocked me and banned me. I told you over and over again what I'm looking for here. And then you go, I'm going to get my way. And I go, no, you're not. You want to talk and share your nonsense, get up here and do it so we can bring content and have the dialogue. If not, I just fucking delete you like you don't exist. Just like your masters do. Just X you right out. You're off the docket. You're done. You're gone. He's in contempt. Put him in the back. Your thoughts on any of that penile power, Brian O'Shea? Same fucking games day in and day out with all these clowns. They're riding the loop to their own detriment.
Yeah, this is the guy who's like starstruck when Slow State's like mentioning him, and I didn't even know Slow State knew who I was. Like, I'm so like I didn't know I was on his radar. Like, he looked
Like
at me
Slow
in
State,
such a way.
somebody. Yeah, like
Right.
he's like he has some prominence.
No, everyone's got so much like advice from the chat. Can any of you just like pull up a video of you getting arrested, dealing with the cops, doing something in court? Like, everyone's just got fucking, here's how you do it. Here's how you'll win. Like, I'm looking to fucking win. Like it's fucking Perry Mason. Of course, it's Lee 64 who I get upset at every fucking time. But I sound fucking big. Let me change gears. Come on, Pineal, help me out here, dude.
Stop falling asleep on streams, penile. It's a bad look. All right, let's get to it. FBI serves. Oh, no, wait. We never finished. Oh, man. I can't get through this. I keep stopping it.
And you are the
I
robber.
got to finish your boy here. Let's get through it, please.
You will say that you were just following orders. It's the system.
Just nod. Just nod. Just nod your head and say,
who have sold their souls
Just
to the state
don't.
because you are not a man of ability.
Let him
and
play the
knowledge.
music and nod your head,
You
all
are
right?
not a producer. You have no product. You are the tyranny. You are the parasite that works deep within the meat of the
That's
pig.
you.
And here is why you
Fuck.
are.
I only got 10 seconds in, and again, he got me. That's you. You're doing it again. You have no product. You have no service. You claim to be a scholar and sell a trifold, then fail at court miserably and embarrass everybody, and then ask for 100,000 or more, which you're getting, in order to write a new book and get more money selling your story, which is a non-starter. You're describing yourselves constantly. When I'm describing you, I'm describing aspects of myself constantly. It's the only way I could know it is by recognition of it and then straightening, straight, not straightened, or straightened, not straight, rather. Right? We understand you guys are all kinky. We understand you're all broken and curved. You don't understand that. You have to understand that, and then you have to straighten yourself. Okay? This is what the process is here of becoming actualization and realization with the human condition. You guys are constantly presenting yourselves like you're a complete picture, and we're not buying it. No products, no services, no nothing. Brian O'Shea, can you believe it? Let me just, I gotta now go back. Let me go back like 10 seconds so that we can see how this is for all of us because it applies to all of us. This is how we notice how the inversion, perversion, perception, deception works. Is every time we go to describe the thing we're fighting and resisting, it turns out we're describing a part of ourselves and what we're doing. Fascinating. Can't get over it. It's better than drugs and tripping.
Because you are not a man of ability and knowledge. You are not a producer. You have no product.
That's you. You're not a man of competence, capability, and knowledge. You showed that at court, hiring another man to speak for you. You don't have a product. You sell trifolds. stop me where I'm wrong here, and we could go deeper into this, but you guys are always doing this. And I became aware of this, that we all do this. It's holographic projection. So you got to really watch yourself in that when you're talking, because it's like that. It's like it comes on you like that. I've seen it. I've done it. That's you. The freak, your thoughts. We finally got you up here.
Yeah, I just needed to configure my Bluetooth device, and so, you know.
Why does Jack Off Jack keep saying this? I told you to send me an address months ago. You didn't do it. You're too busy getting drunk all day, every day. You can't keep up. I don't have a Piz shirt. If I make one, you'll get it, okay? I don't know what's happening. I don't know what Jack Off Jack is doing. I worry about him. You know? I'm sorry. Go ahead, DeFreak. I'm being rude now. I'm cutting you off, and I'm trying to answer him. It's been 8 months later. He wants a shirt that I didn't even make yet. I don't know what the fuck he's saying. I don't know how I can help him. Can I help him? Probably not. Go ahead, sir. You were saying?
Yeah, would you mind unmuting me, because I don't know what I would do if I can't troll Jeeps in the chat.
Brian, you want to go ahead and have an interaction with the freak? Because I talked to him yesterday. I feel like you wanted to talk to him today. Because he was saying stuff to you. He was saying you're a privileged loser, that society hates you. Just beg for forgiveness already because you're like everything bad and wrong. So he was saying that about you. So you might, I figure, want to respond to that, or you don't not even want to address that.
Yeah, the freak. Before we let you go back and chat to do chat stuff, like first you got to come up here and be a man, and answer for a few things, such as the comment Paul just mentioned. Also, fanboying out to Slow State. I didn't even know I was on his radar. That he looked at me in such a so.
Well, what happened there was I was on Talcott's show, and Tarek came up and was like, you know, trying to pull a nubs on me, basically, and then said that, well, I'm all buddy with Flow State, and, you know, guilt by association type of whatever scenario. And I'm like, you know, I really don't even think I'm on Flow State's radar, because, you know, he could turn on me as quick as Paul could turn on anyone like Hank or
you know how
Paul
disgusting
or,
it is to even
Eric or anyone else.
Flow State
And on anyone else
such a
except
way.
for Snafu.
I didn't even know I was on his radar. Like, you're such a chump, dude.
What do you mean?
Why would you look at him with any reverence whatsoever? The honest program.
The best part is that he thinks that these people are doing shows. Right? He thinks he goes, I was on Talcott's show, and then I was on the Slow State show. There is no show, sir. They're there to show their dysfunction and lack of capability and competence. That's the show. They're not aware of it, and apparently you're not either. The rest of us are. There is no actual show. There's nothing prepared. There's no value. There's no competence. There's no capability. There's no talent. There's no information or understanding. There's no inspiration or empowerment. It's literally a showing of their failure and loser behavior. And you think there's an actual show going on. Like, you think these folks have production and a team, and you think they have great ideas. They're creative people. You think they have solutions and answers and a lifestyle anyone would want to live. It's bizarre.
Well, Talcott has a notepad, so he does do some production.
Yeah, he listens to people like me and then writes down what we're saying and parrots it back in his own remixed way. He literally said yesterday, what we need is a willing few. That's my third channel name. Where do you think he got that from? Every time he and others speak, half of what they're saying and doing was soaked up here and then remixed and incorporated into their language and their presentment. You haven't figured that out yet?
Well, I don't even know if do you think he actually is aware of that?
No, they're not aware of it. Slow State does it. Slavecott does it. If you just watch for long enough and have a wide enough view, you can watch how whatever I do and whatever I talk about, whatever's around me going on, is what they start talking about doing and incorporating into their non-show. You haven't seen that? You can't. I know this is really tough to figure out.
I can't say that I know the ins and outs of each one of you that much to know that
You don't need to. You just got to look and see. That's what I'm trying to explain to folks. It's discernment. Most folks don't have it. You don't need to know every little detail to watch as long as you've been here and see what should be obvious.
I didn't know that your third channel name was co-opted by Talcott because I don't know that much about what you guys are producing every day or not or whatever, but I say show because I'm just a consumer on YouTube. I don't produce anything.
I know.
So anyhow, I know that came out perfectly for you to say, but I'm still winning.
That's exactly what the problem is. We have a bunch of low-level consciousness consumers who run around taking in a bunch of toxified crap and vomiting back out what they think is appropriate. That's precisely what gives me content here. That's precisely what gets me hated here, is the recognition of that. And then the, appropriation of the observe and report presentment. Because it's like happening constantly with everyone, everywhere. I might be doing it and be unaware of it.
I don't know, but I'm just trying to reason with O'Shea. Show me one piece of propaganda in the last 10 years that has not basically insulted or been disparaging against white men, especially, middle-aged, quote-unquote, privileged white men. And that's where I get that from. So society already has a bend against you, and you're going to go in there and say, I disobeyed these laws because I'm white male privileged and I know the law and whatever. And you're going to end up like Castro, castrated Castro.
You don't do anything on the ground, dude. You have no idea what it would be like to walk into a court, to be dragged into a courtroom. How old are you, the freak?
I'll be 50 in August.
Oh my God.
Are you married with children?
Divorced.
With children?
You're going to be 50 years old. You admit to consuming all day crap content and producing nothing. You say you're going to vote for Donnie because that's our only option, and Jesus is going to help you do it. It's like I couldn't write a better whack pack character bit. If I go, give me the average middle American tard that can't find its ass with both hands, that also appeals to a false god given to them by the same masters who put forth their politicians. And it's voila. Here you go, Paulie boy. Like right out of the fucking void comes someone like you. It couldn't be any better. Couldn't be any more perfect.
Well, I'm not on YouTube all day, every day, first of all. So that's a bit of an assumption. And I don't know how this went from O'Shea over to what I'm doing and whatever, but
you'd love to focus on O'Shea and his failings.
At least I offered a way out of the mess.
You don't. That's the thing. You don't. It's the same way into the mess. Jesus is going to do it all for us for the last 2,000 years. We've got that already. We heard that. It's not working.
Ham sandwich theory is the way out.
All right, go ahead, Brian. You got anything you want to ask him? What he's talking about? Is he? I want to believe that this is like a bit he's doing where he acts retarded and mediocre and lukewarm and mundane, but I think it's actually his personality.
Dude, freak, how old are your children?
I'm not going to answer that, Brian. No offense.
What do you do for work?
I minister.
Are your children in your life? Are they grown adults?
They're grown.
Do you have any relationship with them?
I minister the gospel of tard. I've been very successful. Turns out majority of folks are retarded just like me, so they're willing to contribute to my cause.
And the ex-wife isn't helpful in that regard, if you know what I mean.
Sean Rowland, why do I feel like we've seen him before? Hold up 2 fingers, Sean Rowland. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, yeah, I remember you. Natural Freedom League. I know I've seen you before. I knew that name sounded familiar. You look familiar.
Yeah, I've been up a few times. We chatted for a little bit.
What is that? A nudist colony? Natural Freedom League?
Could be.
Competitive nudist events or what?
Could be.
That was funny.
I'm starting the Natural Slavery League. It's a place for all the folks like the Freak and the other suburban tards to feel safe and at home. Natural Slavery League. JD, help me out, bro.
Just gay.
You're fucking winding and you're blowing and sucking, bro. What else is new?
Who said that? Was that you, the freak?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, you're a Christ fag. Shut the fuck up, man. You can't beat me. I'll beat the fuck out of you in real life, you pussy.
Oh, man, here we go. Every
Shut
time.
the hell up.
You see what I got to deal with here, John Rowland? It's a zoo.
Yeah, I watch.
Dude, it's easy. It's easy to find GJG. All you have to do is look up BNSF or friggin' the other one.
All right, what do you got, John Rowland? Please, the Freak. We'll get back to you. Your retardation is like on display here constantly. We can always get back to that. I want to hear from Mr. Rowland if he's got something on his mind or he wants to bring a perspective.
Yeah, I would just say I appreciate what you do here. It's kind of like a social experiment, kind of like a metaversal fight club. I was watching this documentary about this communal living organization in the 60s called Synanon. And they had this thing they called the Game. And basically the guy, it was like a rehab center. The guy would let addicts in, they'd get sober. The only rules were no drugs and no violence. And then they'd get in a group and play the game. And they'd all just be yelling at each other and just talking shit to each other and just, but no violence. And it was like a form of therapy. And I haven't watched the whole documentary, but apparently this place became huge. They bought property in Northern California, basically built like a city. And and then they're saying, did it end in a cult? Did the cure end in a cult? But
right, because anytime you have a group of individuals who have like a traumatic background, who form a bond through essentially simulating warfare, it's got to be a cult. While they do culture and society that does football games and sporting games and political games, all to play off of that psychology and misdirect it and use it and abuse it. It's, it's the old, it's only bad when they do it, right? Like, God forbid, a bunch of grown men realize they've been feminized, get together and start a fight club, as you say in quotes, and explore the limits of themselves and each other in a limited venue, right? In a controlled environment where there's certain agreements and rules made. God forbid we have some coming of age story where we find an authentic identity or sense of self through trials and tribulations rather than being sanitized, neotenized, neurotic, broken children who are spiritually deceived and misled. It's got to be a cult, right?
I want to add that I think that the piece that's always missing in these examples is what you bring to the table, which is the principles, and the action steps that you can take to claim your rightful standing, and I see a lot of people who know the conspiracy, right? They know the conspiracy, but they always think of it as like a new government, creating a new government, right? Instead of governing yourself. So I appreciate that you always bring it back to those first principles, despite all the chaos that goes on around here. And I think that your message is actually the solution. It's what needs to be injected into these movements.
What, consciousness and awareness? Yeah, that's the source of everything else that we experience in this realm. So if your conscious and awareness is not in alignment or expanded, so to speak, you're going to find yourself confused and in chaos oftentimes, to use the Talcottian pair of words, which apparently starts off with me saying things and then he starts repeating them in his own way. And then I start repeating what I've said that he's repeated in a way that's different from the way I originally said it. So I don't know how that works, right? Where he's taking what I'm saying and then copying it and saying it in his own way. And then I'm copying him saying what I'm saying in his own way, in his way. I don't know. It's confusing. It's very strange. We start to merge. We start to become one.
Hey, Paul.
Yes,
there's a
Josh.
clown
How are you?
in the chat.
There's what now? Yeah, I know. There's a Bozo the Clown down there. It's aptly
Yeah, it's
named
a
because
killer
that person's a
clown.
loser,
Could
failure
be.
clown in their life. And they would spend any of their time coming here to type in all caps at folks who they call dumb trailer trash who need mental health institution. So what does that make you? If we're all just dumb and just retarded mentally ill people and you're sane and normal and you come here to shit on us and insult us, doesn't that make you even worse than the people you're condemning? Doesn't that make you a malicious, kind of low life, evil, deviant, devilish type person? Yeah, it does. Right. So that's good. And what are the odds that you guys like you are ever going to come up and have a conversation? You're not, because you're a clown. So, Bozo the Clown is fitting. The Cowardly Clown. You should change your name to Bozo the Cowardly Clown. That's more fitting.
Hey, Bozo, why are you making that face? What's up with that O face?
That's how he receives, right? That's how he receives pleasure. You can see the mouth is perfectly shaped for what it is he enjoys the most. So Bozo the Coward Clown down there, obviously, loving to, well, it's a family show. I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, that's that bad heat wave.
All right, now go ahead, Brian O'Shea, whoever that is, and silence that person because they're another chain slave. They're coming from one of your channels. So go ahead and just silence them to let them know they have no power here other than the power that we give them. And we can take that anytime, just like their masters that they serve day after day. He should be used to that. Dan Cummings is down there. We wish Dan well. Mr. Broken System, Broken Trust is down there. Artie, what's up? Where's Artie? Oh, Artie's Corporate Fiction is down there. Good to see you, Artie.
Dan should
and
change
the whole
his name
gang
to
is
Dunn.
here today. Thoughts, anyone? The Freak, do we want to get back to your insanity and nonsense?
Yeah, Dan should change his name to Dunn.
Yo, the Freak, you gotta just give it up, man.
Just gay.
You're not funny. You're corny as fuck. That's you. You're the Christ fag. Fall back.
All right. Well, I'll throw the link if Artie, Broken System, or anybody else wants to come up and interact. We could have it back and forth. I'm always open to that. If not, let me get back to DeCastro. You guys need more DeCastro. He's coming out with a new book. We can't sell the trifolds anymore because we're locked up. But what we can do is write a book quickly, get it out at visiting, and sell it on the website. So,
1 second. Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
This is supposedly Brian O'Shea calling him and having an interview with him. This is the recording, right? Or am I wrong on that?
Brian O'Shea calling DeCastro and having an interview with him?
Or somebody called him and he's...
Now you realize you can't call anyone when they're in jail, right? They can call you. You can't call them unless they have a phone that they got in there that came from their ass. Because that's how phones get into jail. If you have a cell phone, it came in somebody's ass, which is similar to Brian O'Shea, who's also came in somebody's ass at some point. Similar, not the same. You know what? It's a family broadcast. I'm sorry. I forgot John Rowland is here. He's a distinguished man.
What he's saying
oh my
sounds
God.
like a total
Oh my
script.
God. John Rowland, do you have anything? I'm surrounded by miscreants and retards.
The Freak
Help me.
Brian O'Shea is Brian from High Optics Flicks.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the
from
problem.
No Impact Flicks. Right. Do you not know who that is? Do we have to do the whole "this is Bryant from No Impact Flicks" and then introduce you to him again? Like
no, I'm good.
Gotta
but
keep
the
up
whole thing from Castro sounds like a friggin' script.
Well, yeah, it kind of is. We're all players on the world stage, arguably. That's the whole point of the subconscious mind. There seems to be a script already written within us, and we're all just kind of playing it out, blissfully unaware that it's been put there either by our controllers and our masters or our parents. And you could argue those are part of the same dynamic because the parents are your masters at some point and controllers, and they're uploaded with programming. They upload into you, and there you have the idea of mind and heart control.
So if he's reading from a script, how organic?
It's called
and
slave.
authentic.
It's called slave language, like slave plus plus. C plus plus. There's slave plus plus. You act like when I get every slave on here who all has the same beliefs about how the world works, all has the same look about them, wears the same clothes, talks in the same way, have the same feeling states. It's like it's literally like they make these people out of a fucking warehouse. Is what it's become when you realize oneself, self is self. The majority's inauthentic corporate beta males speak slave plus plus. So they all think the same thoughts, have the same feeling states, react and respond the same way to stimuli, have the same justifications and excuses, the same way they're going to bullshit themselves and everyone else and lie. It's all the same, man.
Well,
I don't see a hair's breadth of difference between one and the other.
How could this be an authentic interview by whoever you said it was? And this guy, if it's a script he's reading.
There's no script. The script is slave plus plus. It's in their subconscious mind, put there by their inauthentic corporate male and female parents and peers that they've been held to. And they won't listen to someone like me because I'm not like them. I'm thankful and grateful for that. They think it's a detriment of mine. We're right where we need to be.
Well, it just seems weird.
Weird. Okay. Yeah, it's weird, all right.
You are the tyranny. You
Just
are the
buy the book,
parasite
okay?
that works deep within the
You're getting too deep.
Here is
Just buy
why
the fucking
you are
book
what you are.
and buy the trifold,
This comes
too.
directly from the book.
Constitutional law.
That's what you call your soul or your spirit is your consciousness. And that what you call free will is the mind to think or not to think. Thinking is man's only basic virtue from which all others are processed. The act of blanking out, the willful suspension of one's conscious, the refusal to think, not blindness, the refusal to see, not ignorance, but the refusal to know. It is the act of unfocusing your mind and inducing an inner fog to escape the responsibility of judgment. On the unstated premise that a thing will not exist if only you refuse to identify it. Now, what does that mean? The cop on the street will say they're not supposed to be comfortable. You have abdicated all responsibility. You have turned off your mind, your humanity, and your morality. And not only torture another person, you have created and repeat catchphrases and mantras to absolve yourself of responsibility for your putrid behavior. With every generation, there are new, bright young humans who can and do see the world in new ways. Yet you chose to turn off your mind and simply say, I'm only doing as I'm told. And you accept the ways of despotism and slave chains via quips and jargons. You, the young, the new, are supposed to be brave, but yet you accept the status quo.
You have 1 minute left.
The torturous abuse you do to nonviolent persons who you do not care about and will never be a threat makes you a thug. You youngsters do not put your courage up and think to challenge the evil system which you joined for your own personal gain. You fear the loss and the gain of what you never earned and are not entitled to receive because you created nothing. You produced nothing, you earned nothing, but the quiet and open hatred that you receive from a daunted public, you are the worst of all persons America can get, and a lot of us openly despise you. And I call what I see exactly what I see.
Right. And you're getting closer to Castro. This jail time is going to be good for you because you're starting to see clearly what the dynamic is. The problem is you're not applying it to the self-awareness aspect. That everything you just described that's wrong with all these other people is also a part of you and part of the reason you're suffering right now to reach enlightenment. See, this is what the being of consciousness in a bodily incarnation does not want to accept. That suffering is potentially the gateway to enlightenment. There really is no other way. So through the process of your pain and your suffering and you learning to master yourself and your reactions and responses to that, while also seeing the cause and effect in yourself that you see replicated outside of self, the more you can be set free, so to speak, the more you can be given grace in faith and in truth. But it's going to require a keen eye and awareness of self that most folks either don't have or don't want to have. They'd rather do their own will than get awareness of who and what they are, what they've done and not done, and what needs to happen next. Just a lot easier and more convenient to point outward and say, out there's the power and value, and also out there is the detriment to my power and value. No, you're off on the location of the power and value and the reason for why you're seeing happen. Quantum physics has pretty much proven this at this point. You are a great influencer to your outcome and everyone else's. Once you accept that and work from that space, you will change the dynamic inside and outside of yourself on some level. You can't change a problem with the same state of consciousness that created it. This is almost logic and law at this point.
I can't wait until I hear from the zombie psychedelic crackhead cross-dresser Christos has to say.
Again, aren't you supposed to be a godly, righteous, faithful, loving Christian? And all you ever do is look around to try to find somebody who you believe is worse off and beneath you. And the ironic part is you're probably the worst off here because you're the least conscious and aware. You're the most addicted to false religion. You're the most addicted to political structure and systems, and you believe it's going to save you. You're the most duped and deluded, yet you want to run your mouth from a hypocritical perspective about how everyone else is off and beneath you, and you're beyond it, and you're just in ignorance and arrogance, right? Once again, so
no. He literally typed in the chat Trump and then blocked me preemptively because he's got TDS so bad.
no, no one has TDS. You're bought into a narrative that Fox Noise has fed you all with. I'm tired of you folks repeating what your TV has told you. TDS. Right? Nobody has Trump derangement syndrome. Trump is a fucking clown, just like Joe Biden. Trump is a puppet loser failure with a bunch of money and a position. That's why you bond with him or identify with him, because you're in the world and of it. You're a nihilist infidel, and you think because someone has a loud mouth, a lot of money, and a position, they must be successful and valuable. It shows how valueless you see yourself as. This is all psychology and sub-psychology. You don't know self. You don't know truth. You don't know true power and value. That's the only way you could bond with or identify with a puppet clown like Donald Trump or Joe Biden or any of them, because you hate yourself and you don't know yourself. That's how they take power over you.
How did you just describe Donald Trump?
A puppet, clown, loser, failure as a man in principles and values beyond the money and the bullshit position.
All right. You said something like big mouth and then something else or whatever. Is like, all right. Go ahead.
What did you not hear? Ignorant, arrogant, egotistical, prideful, nihilistic, worldly, cultural trash. Puppet. That's who Donald Trump is. And anybody who identifies with him and bonds with him is, by virtue of that fact, a mirrored image of that. And it fits one for one.
Well,
I'd love for you to show me where it's not true, but you're unable to because you can't. It's not possible. What I just said is truth.
You have no vested interest in what's going to happen in November at all. Like, you're sitting here telling these people to forego their right.
Why do you have vested interest in a corporate endeavor known as democracy, which is a sister of socialism? It means mob rule in Latin. Why would I, as a Republican, conservative, or an American, have a vested interest in a process that only seeks to undo the rights and property and freedom of the individual? How dense can you be? That's what political science is. That's what democracy is. The slow and arduous process of undoing the property rights, freedom, and principles and values of the individual man and God. What don't you get about that idea? It doesn't matter if someone in that system calls himself a Republican and a conservative. They're not. They're a fascist, because fascism is the merger of state and corporate powers. That's why you have lobbyists. That's why you have political contributors. That's why you have centralized banking system backing all of it and them voting for and them writing bills for their central banking masters. because you're deep in fascista and you won't accept it because you're an ignorant, arrogant, low consciousness, low frequency, cowardly infidel. How many different ways could I put it to you?
Well,
That's
show me
still
one
true.
shred. Show me one shred of authority Donald Trump gave to any foreign body ever.
The WHO, NIH.
That was Joe Biden.
No, Donald Trump.
Biden.
I'm not going to do this with you every day, tard. If you want to live in your own world at 50 years old, do it with you and your children who probably hate you. Don't bring your sickness and dysfunction here day after day to repeat your crap and waste my time. The facts are clear. You were locked the fuck down. You were told you were non-essential. Joe Biden wasn't in office when it happened. And your boy covered his face, warp speeded, and took the treatment on the balcony with Fox News recording it, telling everyone how great it was and that we're going to get off lockdown now. Cut the fucking games. You sound ridiculous.
With the WHO didn't happen until Joe Biden was in office.
How about
Donald
the United
Trump
Nations?
For everything.
Hey, asswipe.
He advocated for everything.
Hey, asswipe. How about the United Nations or the UK or Israel, who you give money to in Ukraine? Was it Joe Biden who did all that? Was it Joe Biden who Donnie went to Israel and said he has a special relationship with the UK and Israel because he's working for who controls them? That also controls U.S.
too.
corporation at this point? Are you this dense?
No, but you're framing me in that way.
You said name one. I gave you 5 examples of foreign bodies and powers and nations who Trump
that means nothing.
Submitted to or worked with to the detriment of American principles and values. Fuck slave. What did you not hear or get about that?
So the only democracy
How
in the
about
Middle
the dealings
East,
with China and Russia?
Yeah, what about it?
And he's in office when it's all happening. He's not stopping it. He's bitching about it and getting tards like you to believe he's doing something about it just to trick you.
Stopping what? Tariffs?
The centralized banking system where the Chinese and other nations own us at this point, and all of our products and services potentially have been outsourced or misappropriated. Are you really this dense?
Donald Trump dug up $10 trillion that they owe us and was using it as leverage in negotiation against them.
Under fraudulent contracts.
So the narrative that we owe China anything is false.
Donnie was in office when nobody could go anywhere on a plane without being treated like a fucking combatant and a political prisoner slave. Where were you?
He wasn't.
What did you miss that the rest of us experienced and lived through? Where was Donnie when they threw me off the plane and tried to hit me with a $15,000 bill that they later said, just give us $500? I told them, like Michael Corleone told them, my offer is this, Senator, nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
Hey, do you think Donald Trump is a medical doctor?
Already, what your daddy can't do and won't do, not only because he's too stupid, he's too much of a fucking coward to get it done. While selling you sneakers and t-shirts for 1,000% above markup. Are you really this sick and dense?
Why are you so triggered when I just talk politics with you like this?
I'm not triggered by Trump. I'm triggered by retards around me calling themselves citizens who are also my friend and family who can't discern how anything in this life works, including their own consciousness.
I have nothing to do with them, but you don't even
claim to be a citizen. Them. You are. I can't tell the difference between any of you.
You forwent your citizenry, and now you're telling these people to give up theirs and not exercise their right.
I can only talk for so long, scream for so long, shake the tard out of his dense consciousness, just fallen state of fascism and communism and collectivism that he calls demosocracy, which literally means mob rule. And it doesn't matter how many facts you shoot, doesn't matter how many words and terms, doesn't matter how the philosophy and the historicity connects. We're going to throw it right out for what we want to be true and don't want and how we feel. Just like a broken bitch.
You can't see the illusion. You can't see the illusion.
Surrounded by hoes who are only meant to be picked on.
An illusion when I'm not the one saying uphold your rights and your rights and then forego your right to vote. It makes no sense.
They
The only
told
right-
you, Tard,
Your
that
right
you
to
had a
vote's a
right to vote
joke.
so that tards like you would run around thinking you had a right. We don't want the right to vote for someone to represent us and take power over us. We want the right to have our God-given rights. They're only there if they're going to uphold that. If they won't uphold that, they're illegitimate and need to be gone.
Well, then
You're
it's time
such
to
a
bum rush.
low-level consciousness. You don't even
I'm
understand
low level.
the founding
I'm
fathers
low level.
and what this is
Listen.
all supposed to be. You don't
So then what you're
understand
saying
it.
is it's time to bum rush the DOJ.
No, it's
Wait,
not
wait,
time
wait.
to do anything. It's time
Dude,
to
just
get
stop
out and stay
talking.
out. Why do you keep opting in is the question. You all keep complying, cooperating, which is a commercial term, and opting into every privilege and benefit they tell you is your right. Yeah, you have a right to be a pimped out, bitch ass, hoed up slave. Do you want to be? That's the question. You have a right to be. Do you want to be? Do you need to be? Do you
Do
think
you
it's
want a stable
beneficial to you?
society?
Someone help him out. There's not enough reefer
Yeah,
on this
I have a
whole
quick
land
question.
to get me to balance and refocus. Just
Hang on.
constantly in the face of dense tards who just can't listen and focus and understand. This is why I'm not meant to be a teacher. It's clear. I'm not meant to be a teacher. I'm not meant to be in certain positions because I don't have the care and the patience and the wherewithal to thousands of days straight have to get in these people's face and talk to a grown man almost twice my age in a way he can understand. I don't speak retard or infant at this point. I need a mama to come in and do it. Jennifer? Is Jennifer here? I think she's gone. She probably can't take it anymore.
All right.
She's left me
Paul,
for good.
Paul, let-
I'm calling out for Jennifer. If you're here, wherever you are, intuitively, could you please come here and mama this retard? Because I can't
I'm
do
plucking
it.
my
Daddy
nipple
can't do
hairs.
it. Daddy doesn't have the heart for it. Daddy's like preparing to go to war at some point or a warrior in the garden. Daddy can't baby every day and spoon feed little pop who's going to be a man at some point, right? I can't do it. I'm not meant for it. This is why she was brought into my life, I suspect. They're going to 180 me like DeCastro at some point, and she's going to have to do this broadcast. And mama, all the little tards with her loving, divine, feminine energy and spoon feed it to you day after day till you can poop, and peep on your own. And you can even wipe it up and
One
clean up
person on
after
this
yourself.
panel
I
that
can't
can
do
put
it.
anything
Rod.
forth whatsoever.
I
but
can't
on the
do
low
it.
level.
Take over,
no
Tribe.
one
You
here.
can do it. You're very
I
patient
have a
and
very brief
monotone.
question. Yeah. Short question for your long answer is what is it about me joining your group that rises you up?
You're asking who? You're not
Whoever's
asking me.
professing about the Trump, whoever was the big one about joining, voting about this and voting for that. So what is it about me joining your group that rises you up?
It's a low level, loaded question because voting for Donald Trump is an individual choice. So what group are you talking about exactly?
The group of people that believe voting for Trump is going to have any kind of effect on their personal life.
It's not even a choice.
Drill, baby, drill. Oil supply. Inflation. That doesn't affect nobody, right?
But what is it about me believing and joining that whole movement there that rises you up, that motivates you to want to make me believe what you're saying?
Because you would rather have more money to spend at the end of the month than not, wouldn't you?
Oh, I can't wait until
that's a
Donnie
false
comes back in.
equivalency.
I can't wait till Donnie comes back in and takes us to World War III even further for Israel and really
That's the
implodes
first
this
time.
nation. I can't
False.
fucking wait.
And people like him will still be defending Trump. Will still
Daddy
be there
kept us
sucking him off.
safe. Daddy was a tough maverick. Daddy beat up everyone else's daddy from around the world. Yeah, we're poor and broke. Yeah, we're
And he
just
kept
the
the oil
bubble
in
just burst
Syria.
and we're all homeless and deeper in debt, and the monetary system's been trashed because it was built to fail. But Daddy did it. Daddy helped us
stop
while it happened.
grandstanding.
We never could have
That's all
seen
you're
how
doing
this
right
could have
now.
happened, but Daddy did something while it happened. Like when Bush said, I kept everyone safe during the biggest attack supposedly in America's history. He goes,
Paul, you should run
while
for
it was
Congress, man.
happening, I kept us safe. And everyone went, uh-huh. And I
Yeah.
almost fell over. But everyone else around me went, okay. And I go, is
Just
anyone
keeping
seeing
that
this?
oil
Is
in
anyone hearing
Syria
this? Is this
gonna
real?
Pay for your kids' future.
You really are. Just this human race is really this far gone. It's a mongrel, distorted, just perverted, deviant race. And there's no hope left for the majority other than a great reset, like your boy Klaus says. You're going to have to experience a loss of pretty much everything, including a lot of life, for us to get back on track. We're too far gone, man.
Well,
Don't
sure,
put
you're
any
just gonna-
faith in earthly man and
you're
woman
just
for
gonna
whom there is no
call
salvation.
and
It's over.
label everything like a communist.
It's over.
then,
It's totally
yeah.
over. You
Definitely.
tards
No
have
idea.
the inmates have
And
the
I still-
asylum.
And
The
I still
inmates
offer
have
to
the
weigh out.
asylum. They're
No one
more
here
than willing to
on the
shut
panel
up
right
guys
now
like Paulie Boy and have him dragged off.
Could offer anything.
It's already the
Not a
die is
thing.
cast. The die is cast.
Paul,
But I'm the
I'm
local-
The
convinced.
funny thing is, he thinks that money is what they're going to use to control people. He's got it so wrong. There's such new technology that's got the people under control better than money ever did for our ancestors. They're done. They're holding that there while they're in the back, ready to take care of you. If you're not working at that
What?
level, you're going to be laughed at and left behind. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, like what technology? Like what?
Exactly. You don't know, and ignorance is what causes all this polarization.
Yeah,
So
but
you
you
run
made
to
the
one
assertion,
side or
though.
another instead of
Yeah, the
enlightening yourself.
majority
to
of
what
you
could
can't be
true.
saved. Jesus couldn't do it, and I can't either. And I'm a pretty intelligent person, and I'm pretty good with words. But the only God can help you people at this time, or destroy you and allow you to respawn in some other reality. Because I don't think you can be helped. I don't think the majority of you really can be helped at this point. I think you're too soul broken. And just
already
ignorant
saying,
and arrogant and a personality disorder to even perceive of the reality that we're meant to exist in.
I'll tell you what, Jesus wouldn't even tolerate this. You know, he says, cast your net on the other side, right? But no, these guys here want Jesus to buy them the boat, get them out there, show them the lake to go to, launch the boat, give them the bait the hook, and then tell his slaves which side of the boat to cast the net on. It ain't going to happen. You got to do some work yourself from what was
You're
laid out
saying
for
he's
you.
trolling. It doesn't even matter if he's trolling. The majority of tards who, when I used to go to festivals, the events, anyone resembling conservative, Republican, for rights, freedom, and principles in name only, in theory, all talk and act like this guy. So even if he's doing a bit and trolling, it works because they're all like this and they all repeat the same fucking talking points. I don't think he's that good at doing the bit and trolling. I think he's just one of them.
Yeah, he's not trolling at all. You can tell by his questions and his answers, he's being himself.
Yeah, he's not that good of an actor. This is actually what they do because I've met them all. They scream at Antifa. They say the leftists are our enemy. And when I ask them about who and what they are and what they're creating and being a part of, they can't tell their ass from their elbow.
How about one person on this panel put anything forth that would be a solution or a plan to get us out of here or whatever you're crying about then?
Wow. I swear I've been doing that for the last 2 or 3 years, but apparently it went completely unnoticed or I'm a horrible communicator. Can someone help out, please? Anyone?
Yeah, please show me that I'm the low level one.
Truth, rights, freedom, natural law. I don't know. Where would I leave
Yeah,
out?
virtues. How are you going to get there? So what?
How are you going to get there without voting for daddy?
Yeah,
Well,
maybe we could start at focusing on rights that really, matter. I'm not very religious, but I've never thought God would endow me with the right to vote like I keep fucking hearing you spew. But the right to travel seems like a very fucking important human right that
Wow.
God would want all of his creation to have. So why are you only concerned with this non-right to vote in a group that you're not a fucking part of? But anytime traveling freely is brought up, you're like, oh no, don't do that. You'll go straight to jail. It's not worth fucking doing that, you fucking coward. Like, what do you
don't
mean?
carry a
Brian
gun.
O'Shea.
Don't carry a gun. Don't, grow plants and herbs that are known to heal because they have no medicinal value in the code. Don't travel freely. Don't do any of this because that'll end you up in trouble. But also God and faith and truth, and also conservatism, and also Republican, and what? And I just go, I don't know where I am anymore. I don't know what's happening. Is this an actual conversation?
I
Is
had
a real
no mention of
person?
God tied in with rights, by the way. But you want the answer, Julian? It's Brian O'Shea.
Wait, so God does not give us free choice or free will?
Well, he's conflating those two. I never did.
I'm not asking. I'm just asking you to what your firsthand experience is. You popped out of your mama's stink hole. You're not aware of anything else. You're here now. Do you have a right to travel freely and have whatever property you wish to secure your beingness in your life and pursue happiness and be fulfilled? Or do those rights get bestowed upon us by someone, something, and then taken away? How does that work?
Well, I would say that every mind has its own agency, and so you have the free will to do whatever you want, whether it be legal or not legal under whatever jurisdiction you might be under in government. So, it's layered.
Oh,
Go ahead.
That's a bit off.
There, you can't infringe on rights.
I'm not a lawyer.
No, it has nothing to do with law. It has to do
Oh,
with
no
religion.
kidding. Oh, well, okay. Hold on. We got to reconnoiter here because I thought this whole time, and I think everyone else here was under the impression that you were a lawyer. So now that you've told us that new information, we're going to have to come at this a different perspective. Thoughts? Brian O'Shea? Someone? Anyone? It's astounding.
So what was your question again then, to freak now with this new insight?
Put anything forth whatsoever on the table right now that is the solution or will help get us out of here like I put forth yesterday. Anything at all.
Yes.
Not virtues. Not just ringing off some virtues. Go ahead, please.
Absolutely. It's learning the foundations of the power structure that the major institutions that are on this land and regulate what goes on in this land, where the dividing lines are between their control and regulation of commerce and where they have a fiduciary duty of care to protect the rights that have already been God given to us. And by that, we give them permission to conduct their interstate, international commerce, right? And it's kind of a tacit deal.
You're aware
of it. What about that?
What?
But can you express that when they start to say the opposite, saying that you're a subject, like the British are to the royalty, that you don't have rights except what's given to you by the state, whereas we allow the state to have rights, not rights, but privilege to do certain things as long as they protect or have our rights secured, I should say. So that's the deal.
You're aware.
And
you're aware.
that deal,
you're aware. Now what? Now what? You're aware of it. So what? Go ahead.
Well, then what are you worried about? You're saying, how do we get out of it? If there's a problem, if you can articulate that, then it'll present the solution to you for your particular
Well, I
instance.
guess there's no problem then, right?
Well, you tell me what's a problem you're exhibiting right now. I could tell you this, that since taking this type of approach and coming on Paul's panel, I've seen nothing but more success. So I guess I could validate some of the heuristicity of what he's claiming and been demonstrating over the last couple of years.
It's like talking to a woman. This guy, he's on so many different subjects within
No,
three sentences.
you. That's you.
It's ridiculous, Paul.
I'm telling you, that's you. Like everything you say that's true about others is usually more true about you than the other person.
That's you.
Yeah, I know it's not emotional because, it's.
All right, I got to throw someone out. Someone who's not talking, Poncho or Christos, whoever's gonna not planning usually to not be talking because you guys usually don't like talking for whatever reason. Like, I want to have you here. I want to hear from you. But if you typically don't talk much, make some room on the panel when it's full because Artie wants to come up here.
Poncho, you ever see Roadhouse?
What's that?
Have you ever seen Roadhouse?
He's probably
No,
never
that's
rode
the
on
thing.
a train.
I didn't want Julian to leave. Julian, get back here. I like hearing from you, and you usually have good stuff to say, and you do talk. So for folks who are usually not talking and don't really have much to say or contribute, it's not a personal attack. It's just, I just want to make one room. That's why I specifically gave two names, because I don't want someone to leave who I was enjoying hearing from, who had something to add. And obviously, Julian, you have a passion in your heart for this information. So
he has nothing to add.
Hey,
The freak, I'll tell you why you're low level. It's because you still vote. You still have that mentality. You're caught in an illusion. That's what I was saying earlier. You can't think for yourself.
Yeah.
So, so you uphold your rights by foregoing them. Is that what you do, Just Gay?
Hey, that's you. But if you're going to vote for a president, that ain't doing shit.
It's
I must
electing
say,
a
though,
president.
JG has the most incredible mic improvement on this panel I've seen in years. So just, again, another demonstration of just being here that has brought him to a new level. Actually, he's got the most powerful mic tonight. Salute.
All right, way to go.
Yeah, Artie, the link's down there, man. I had to make some room, so come on up.
So not one thing can anyone lay on the table that is actually something that the boots on the ground can do to do anything to change what.
Again, sir, it's about correcting your status and standing on record.
At least I offered something that'll get you out of the system.
About connecting your status and standing. No, playing into the system doesn't get you out of the system. That's bizarre logic. You correct your status and standing. You correct the record. You put your law and your understanding and statement of intent, how you're going to live on record, and you give notice. And then when these folks want to have conversation with you at court or using the system, you activate that claim and that understanding, and you present that properly to bring remedy and resolution. So, again, and that's along with growing, right? We all have to grow our own food as much as possible, be self-sustainable. We have to acquire property and then keep it in the proper status and standing in order to not lose it to the idea of the state of entity and the idea of it being trust property for the state of. So, a large majority of this is managing your own affairs and keeping proper records and correcting the record publicly if necessary. And then the rest of it is just living how folks have lived from the beginning of time.
Let me put something else forth, Paul, if I could. Okay, so we're in the B system now, according to Vancy, and he's probably right. Just being in the B system or inheriting it or what's coming down the pipe or whatever, you're going to be severed from the system automatically, because when you don't take the mark of the beast, you are severed from the system. So really all you have to do is nothing and just reject that, and you're out of the system already. You don't have to be proactively making a fool out of yourself in front of cops and judges, getting your ass thrown in jail.
You're projecting that everyone else who does what they have convicted in their heart is making a fool of or embarrassed. That's you. You're worried about what other people who are actually fools and embarrassments and failures think about you. That's your low self-worth coming out again and showing itself subconsciously. You're not aware of that, but that's what it is. For the rest of us who are not validated by the other fools and embarrassments, we don't give a fuck what they think about us or consider us. We only care about holding to our convictions, our principles, and values. What is it you don't get about that?
Everything is a circular reasoning and total hypocrisy, Paul.
Okay.
No logic in it, because you just keep.
You're entitled to believe whatever it is you wish,
by not asserting my rights. I don't get it.
Again, you're powerless. You have no power. It's obvious. You have no understanding of God or truth or faith or trust or equity or any of the foundations of law. What a surprise. You have a faith and a belief in a system and a bunch of misleaders and a false God. Continue to live the way you're living, and you'll realize at some point, maybe in the next life. I don't know what else to tell you.
I don't know either. I mean, you're just going to keep framing, labeling, accusing.
It's not framing and labeling. I'm repeating back to you who and what you are and what you've reported here. There is no framing and labeling.
He's the one framing.
You don't sit well with life on life's terms. You don't like reality the way that it is. That's why you've created an alternate reality to live in and cope with the reality you can't exist in or comprehend or reconcile. You have personality disorder. It's par for the course in the modern day amongst the citizenry. Why do you think the mental illness drugs are through the roof? Why do you think street drugs are through the roof? Why do you think alcohol's through the roof? Because the majority of the public and the citizenry are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually ill. And the worst part is they're too ignorant and arrogant to realize it and change it and do something about it. They'd rather take an easy way out like they do everywhere else.
They can't handle the truth.
Yeah, you're a slave, dude, and then you're defending your own position of doing what everything that everybody else is doing, just to the detriment, because you want to feel good about it.
Yeah, it's
I'm
called
just pointing out
copium
the
and hopium.
inconsistencies. I'm just pointing out inconsistency. You know,
You're the
Right, and I'm pointing out your
inconsistent.
addiction. Most folks who come here
well,
have an
then put
addictive
something
personality.
forward.
They just don't
Anyone on the
realize that
panel,
slavery and genocide is one of their addictions.
just put something on the table that we can look at. Then anyone on the panel besides Paul,
Do you pay your
please.
tax?
Yeah, I just
Like
left you a
the-
comment there in the chat, DeFreak. I would highly recommend you look into that by Bill
who's
Cooper, the
talking?
Mystery Babylon series.
All right, Artie's here now. Let Artie get in on this. He's been waiting patiently to get into the discussion. I'm sure he has something to add. It doesn't matter if I disagree with him or not. He usually has something to say. So let him take the lead here, put forth his perspective, and then we can go from there.
What's up? I guess my question was going to be, you know, it was kind of on the same same wavelength as the other individual. I can't remember who the names are, but more so what is the practical pathway of getting to where you're at in terms of getting out of the system without the system harassing you
There is none.
at every which way.
There is none. That's what makes this such a valuable or formidable walk and process. Is you can't, no one of any sound mind or conscience could actually claim that there's a way to do this without experiencing some test, some challenge, potentially some loss, injury, or harm. It's not where we're at historically, and technically, right? So I never claim that. I never will claim that. If I did claim that, it would destroy my credibility and integrity because I could potentially get someone hurt who didn't understand what I perceive to be the dynamics. Whether I'm right, wrong, or indifferent, I have to call it as it is or as I see it. So there probably is no way at this point to extricate ourselves from the fascism completely without being tested and challenged at some point. You can argue that's what makes a man, is doing the next right thing regardless of the consequence.
So ultimately, the pathway is just going to be what you're going to what to deal with. In other words, you are going to declare yourself, correct your status, and just deal with the fact that, you know, when you're traveling on the road, you have to expect that cops are going to stop you and put you in a cage and fine you for not adhering to the existing laws of the land, correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a dynamic we've seen throughout history, the idea of civil disobedience. Every time, every place, on every land, at some point, the government becomes tyrannical, and traitorous and treasonous to its own people and its own supposed ends and formality. So at that time, there's usually great quote unquote people who step forward and say, we're not going to obey these statutes, policies, and codes of your group dynamic here because we believe it to be detrimental to the individual and the collective. Right. So this is a common theme we see in human history. You can argue it's a necessary process of creating history or becoming actualized, realized individual selves.
Well, I mean, the problem that I understand what you're saying when it comes to civil disobedience, but you know, when a lot of us think about what does civil disobedience include, it also includes advocating for change in the system. But you guys aren't even asking for a change in the system. You guys just want out of the system.
There's no you guys. I'm talking about me and my experience, my wishes, and my understanding and convictions. I'm not part of a group, and no one speaks for me, and I don't speak for anyone else. So again, why would I seek to voluntarily inject myself or cooperate with a system when I have no need to? There is no one that can compel or coerce or force me into any contract or any interaction lawfully, legitimately. So why would I subject myself to a system that is corrupt and or incompetent and incapable in order to change that system to just do what's true and what's right that makes the system superfluous?
Okay. I mean, I guess that's like your opinion, man. But I mean, you're going to run headlong into issue after issue if you continue to act in a way that is in opposition to the current institution.
I know that. We know that. History's shown that. I'm not like, you guys act like I'm this Dunning-Kruger fool here, that you all want to Go around. I know the consequences. I know the sacrifice of becoming a free man. I know the true care and true love. You don't. So you're presuming I'm a fool. No, you're the cowards and fools because you keep going along to get along when the whole point of incarnating in this realm is to come to this understanding, live it, and do it before you die. There is no other reason to be here unless you're a nihilist comfort freak and hedonist, and you think the only point of living here is to try to find fleeting happiness in moments of euphoria and pleasure and comfort. I don't accept that model, this reality, and what we're here for.
Well, so is it? Wait. So wait, hold on. What?
You
so
will
is it,
not
so,
be remembered.
You say
no
that hedonism is you're saying that hedonism is part of the life, but
finished.
I mean, it seems
finished.
like it just.
If you will not adhere to what's true and what's right, you will not be part of history. You will be part of his story. You will be just another number. No one will remember you, nor should they remember you. You've not stood for anything, done, or been anything outside of the norm, and the norm is twisted and deviant and dysfunctional and collectivized and enslaved. That's been that way from the beginning of time. You folks will not be known. No one will know of you. No one will care about you. No one will speak of you. You'll be dust in the wind because you've not exemplified or embodied anything that we as humans objectively understand as valued or principled. If you're okay with it, so am I. I don't have that walk. You can fake yawn all you want, Artie. All you inauthentic corporate males all do the same shit. You're a Jack Talcott. Fake yawn all you want with your passive aggressive play.
Well, look, look, Paul, if I knew.
Why can't you just stay away from me and be happy being a slave? If I'm so dumb and beneath you and so foolish and don't understand, why do you folks always cycle and circle back to me in these channels? Your spirit cries out for it. You know I am and have what you need. You've decided you're not going to do it because you're a fearful coward, and you're acting like you're warning me about something I haven't already surrendered to and accepted. Just be happy with me being a free man, and you be happy being a cowardly slave. We don't have to commingle. We don't have to intercourse.
I don't know, man. You keep putting me in the backstage. That seems pretty cowardly to me.
You don't know, and I do. That's the point.
Maybe
and you're not okay with that dynamic either, that I know and you don't, and that I will and you won't. You just can't accept it. I'm free and you're a slave.
Am I allowed to
talk
at all?
Here. You have your own will and ego that's collectivized. I'm working with the will of God. I know you can't. You snicker and giggle at that because you're a godless, faithless, worldly freak. Just accept that we're not equally yoked. I will never be a part of who and what you are and what you do in the way that you are now. If you change and redeem yourself and repent from your wicked worldly ways, we can co-create and convalesce from your sickness and deviance. But until then, there's nowhere to go with this. You can snicker and giggle and laugh, passive aggressive, like you have the power. Then you'll turn the camera off and you'll sulk. Because you already know you're a disempowered loser failure. Your false presentment here doesn't give you any credence or credibility or validity. And we can see right through it. I don't know how you law folks don't realize the folks you do criminology with, the criminals, can read people just like criminologists can. So we can look at you and tell you're lying to yourself, weak in your position, loser failure who fronts like you're strong when you're weak. And when you turn the camera off, you sulk in despair because you know everything I'm saying is true, but you don't want to cop to it in public. You're too prideful and egotistical. That's your undoing.
Okay, can I talk now or not?
Absolutely.
Chance.
Yeah. So honestly, I've honestly lost the conversation because we were like 5 minutes ago, and you just decided to go on a full on rant. You tend to do that a lot. Have you noticed that?
You've been listening to. Because he spit
like all I heard him say was like ad hom me, call me a coward, call me a slave, and say I'm unenlightened and say I'm projecting. That's all I really heard. I didn't really hear anything else beyond childish insults because that's really all. That's all that exists on these panels. That's all that exists on these panels. Julian, settle down.
All right, hey Artie,
Jesus,
you're
well, he's got penal power doing wizard chapter mode.
Jesus for forgiveness. And
you're a content creator, Artie, right?
Yep.
Quote unquote content creator. So if I were to make like a song, if I were to work maybe with, I don't know if you're familiar with Talcott Clip Collection, but or Gorilla Gems, but if I were to work with some other video editors, right, and I made a song,
Uh-huh.
it was called, you know, it was like kind of a comical piece, right? Farty's flatulent fiction, right? And we tagged you, of course, with your channel in there, and it was
Sure.
Dust in the Wind, you know, like a remix, if you will. Would you share that on your platform?
Fuck yeah, I would. That'd be based. Do it.
Okay. All right.
Send me a link.
I know, right?
We get a link.
I'll put it in a community post. That'd be awesome, man.
Okay.
I need a link.
The fact that I would live so much rent free in your head that you would actually make a song out of me, that would be fucking based. Do it.
And I want a link to his channel, please. Chris Crossdresser. Why don't you give me the link to his channel, if you don't mind? You know, I know you got to put on lipstick, but could someone at least put something on the table that would be like, you know, what boots on the ground would be like, call progress? Because I've heard nothing.
It's called standing on your own 2 feet without anybody else having to stand for you.
Yeah, well, I'm at least putting ideals forward that, you know, you guys are.
All right, I'm done. I'm done with the TARD conference. I'm done at this point. Everyone see your way out with the TARD conference. You know, if we want to have the conversation, or we're going to let me monologue, as Artie says, we can do that, or we can get back to the clip. We got the castrated writing a new book, the constitutional law scholar who, you know, can't speak for himself at court, hires legal bar attorneys, and then says I'm about rights and freedoms. Just, it's laughable. So I don't want to cycle and spin and go back and forth with a bunch of nonsense that goes nowhere. I'm sure you understand. So any other thoughts?
I have a quick question. I have a quick question for Artie, if I may.
Sure, go ahead.
Artie, have you ever seen a situation where an attorney was representing a client, and at some point the client was instructing the attorney to do a particular thing, yet the attorney wasn't doing it, making all kinds of excuses and procedures and technicalities without even mentioning caveats or exceptions, and try to almost destroy the case? And then the client goes behind the scenes, writes his own motions, defenses, etc., and ends up getting a verdict in his favor and having a previous one vacated. And what do you think? Have you ever seen that happen? Where
No.
you see a client where a lawyer, there's something that has to be done that the lawyer won't do and can't do, that the client can do and should do?
I've never heard of an instance in which a client goes behind their attorney's back and was successful in that endeavor.
Right, it was completely
And how long have you been
ridiculous.
practicing law?
Since 2010. No, I'm sorry, 2011 was when I got my license.
He's not completely wrong, Tribe. I mean, what he's saying from his purview, you have to look at it from his training and his profession. And it makes sense. Like like you saw with DeCastro, he hires the attorney, and the attorney's now apologizing for his behavior to the court. It's not how you want to present at the court. You're either in alignment with your counsel, or you don't have them there and get someone else. If you show every place in your life you're dishonorable and bad faith and can't be co-creative and conversational, it's not going to go well for you at court. So when he hires the damn attorney, and the attorney's trying to approach it from a legal perspective, and he wants to go around that and up and over that and inject fuck all pigs and all the rest of it, it's just pure ridiculousness. It gets to the point where these folks go in the back and go, can you believe these sob-sick clowns and what they're up to lately? And I don't blame them. If you're going to hire the damn attorney, you're in alignment with them, and you get your rap together before you go out, and you shut your fucking mouth and let him talk for you. You don't go out there and embarrass him and the court and yourself by going up, around, and over what his plan of attack is. It's bizarre. If anything, at that point, you hire him to be secondary counsel. You speak for yourself, and maybe he whispers something into your ear every once in a while. Hey, bro, I'd stay away from that if I was you. I'm looking at this from a third-party perspective. Stay away from that. You know, he gives you a little bit of a redirect or a refocus. But no, you don't hire primary counsel and then sit there and make a mockery of whatever the fuck he's doing with your nonsense. It's never going to go well. nor should it, because it really establishes your lack of character.
Hey, Artie, you fucking
Here we go.
looking fucktard. You are a tyrant fuck, aren't you? You probably the type that got the ovens ready for Americans. You're probably a pedophile pogo.
He preheated the ovens. Artie was preheating the ovens at Buchenwald.
You're a fucking scumbag, bro.
Who the fuck is Snap?
Like the right to travel. Okay.
Are you okay?
That's our resident village idiot town crier, but he's usually onto something, I gotta say.
All
right.
Stick up my ass and give me a ticket if I don't go the right way. And you're a lawyer.
I'm not interested in sticking a stick up your ass.
You're a fucking Rick Steiner looking dumb fuck. You're a Gestapo
Who?
fucking supporter. You're a tyrant. And you fucking are, you try and use your clout. I'm a lawyer. You're a fucking tyrant.
I am.
You're a fucking tyrant.
Okay. If you say so. I mean,
cupcake.
Artie, what do you preheat those ovens?
Are you going to?
Is it like 400, 425?
375, the usual.
That's a good slave burning temperature.
I should have died, man. These tyrants are taking over. I wish I would have died. Fuck this guy.
What's with all that noise, man? O'Shea, you got a whole bunch of background noise.
I don't know. He's at a carnival or something.
Guys like you are the reason this world's falling apart. Artie, you dumb fuck.
Well, okay. If you
we already did that segment. I did that segment already. We're beyond it.
I mean,
Gestapo and Nazi and tyrants. I comply to a beast system world agenda. I comply.
So were you arrested or something? Is that what it is? Like, did you get hooked up, and you're mad about it, or?
No, I just know fucktards who support infiltration within. You're a tyrant. You're fucking
infiltration.
Traitor. You're a fucking
infiltration by who?
Hey, when shit hits the fan, you're what I consider a cupcake. When shit hits
the traitor
fan,
of what?
A lot of you cupcakes are gonna lose your icing. Just believe that. Believe that. Your ideals, your morals, your tyrant optics. People are.
Is that a castration euphemism?
Like no, people are tired of cupcakes like you guys. You're gonna lose the icing off your cupcake. People just like you, professional, non-professional.
He's gonna be drained
just the tip.
The valuable lesson of what being a cupcake.
Artie's hearing something completely different than what you're putting forth. He's picking up something completely different. He thinks you're giving him some kind of sexual innuendo.
Yeah, like it sounds like you're saying I'm gonna get castrated or something. Like the icing off the cupcake. What does that even mean?
I'll rape you metaversally. You're pixelated.
Oh man. You're threatening outright rape at this point on another man?
Hold me in the court of law now for slander. Can I talk? Am I a man? Can I talk on an open public?
No.
Can I talk, Paul? This cupcake fuck, dude. Wait till shit's a thing. Cupcakes like you, the icing.
What do you mean? Wait. What does that mean? What shit hits the fan? What does that mean?
Yo, cupcake is no longer gonna be fucking blue or red or whatever.
Okay.
Look, a little pink background behind you. You like that fucking background? How much
is it cup? Wait, is it is the cupcake the United States? Is the cupcake the United States to you?
Lawyer bullshit for supporting.
Is the cupcake the United States?
The cupcake
is the cupcake the United States?
No, many of you fucktards are cupcakes. You'll learn.
Okay, so is the icing my penis? What are you like?
And non-professionals. There's many non-professionals that aren't cupcakes that actually will defend them. You're sitting here actually arguing. We see tyranny happening in the United States, foreign, domestic, right? You're gonna argue about travel, about travel.
Wait, why do
you fucking get?
Wait, do you even care? Do you even care about the United States?
Brown. I'm already brown. You're gonna turn me nigger brown.
Are you? Do you even care about the United States? What is even happening here?
What's happening is you're a cupcake, and your icing will be removed in due time. When shit
I appreciate the mood music, but here we go.
I think he wants like some alone time with you, Art.
Yeah,
I know. Like he keeps on saying how much he wants to take my icing.
How do you feel about that?
How much icing do you want from me?
Do you could talk? Do you want to ask?
Are
Daddy
you good?
If you could talk right now? Hey, Daddy, can Artie talk? Daddy.
Hey, look, you can lick the icing off my cupcake anytime you want. Just come on over.
I'll fucking lick it so fucking hard you're gonna fucking regret even ever being
new levels of pleasure.
Why do you support tyrants?
New levels of release.
Why do you support tyrants against American citizens?
I don't. Why do you?
You do. You question the right to travel.
Yeah, I don't think you should be allowed. I don't think you should be allowed to operate heavy machinery without a base level of understanding.
You think I should have been fucking ticketed for a wagon and wheel horse carriage?
Can a wagon and wheel explode in an accident?
What if I had dynamite in the back of it to fucking work on the land? I'm a farmer, not a cupcake like you, who got the oven set for Americans who will fucking.
What even is?
Gestapo, who will use your professional lawyer bullshit for clout, right? Pogo type clout. You know what Pogo is.
Yeah.
We know who you are, Artie.
What the hell's
Privately owned,
Pogo?
government operated, and hence why you came on here. And
I'm an agent.
Oh no!
Yeah,
no,
I'm an agent.
You're a cupcake. You're just a faggot-looking Rick Steiner, fucked-up-looking cupcake. A little weak.
I mean,
like
at least, hey, look, at least I put my face out on the internet instead of you having a zebra icon.
My face is everywhere. You know what? We could actually find your
Turn on your camera if you want to. If you want to compare looks, turn on the camera. I want to know who's going to be licking my icing, so I want to see if you're at least, more than a butterface. All right?
Show us your face. We want to see your face, brother.
Let's move on, Snafu. You're dampening the mood.
I want to see your face, Snafu.
It was a warm, sexy mood there for a second, and you're trampling all over it. So let's just move on.
And I'm listening to this guy, and I'm like, "Fuck! I wish I would."
You're in the hospital. Well, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, he's dying. He's dying, and he's very angry and bitter. So this is how he kind of copes with that.
And I'm like, I wish I would have died.
We're here for it.
Society is fucked. We got cupcakes like this guy. We are fucked.
All right, give me the final word, Snafu. Yeah, give me the final word, Snafu. We got to wrap up.
Pogo optics are high, Mr. Artie. Your icing will be removed in due time.
Oh man,
I can't wait. Man,
he's gonna remove all your icing, all your cream filling.
Right?
Gone. All right, give me some final words, people. Let's go around the horn here. There's always tomorrow. We'll be back.
All right, Artie and Defreak, completely unwilling to do anything on the ground, do anything manly for rights and freedom. Just always take the safe route, like a corporate beta male, inauthentic. All right, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
To be clear, it seems like the safe route up front, but long term, it's actually the worst and most dangerous route, because when the fascism keeps taking hold more and more, you're going to be subjected to more and more statute, policy, and code, and more slavery and genocide. So it seems like the safe route up front, actually the most dangerous for your women and children, more importantly, around back, right? I know that doesn't matter to most males anymore, but we're supposed to want to leave the world better than how we found it for our children, a little bit more free, a little more prosperous, a little more righteous. And I don't think that's happening. But, maybe once Daddy Trump gets in there this time, everything will get better immediately. We can only hope, right? The freak, that is. We'll hope for Donald Trump to save him. And Jesus.
Drill, baby, drill.
That's right. Smug self-righteousness ain't gonna save you two idiots. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.
All right, bye.
You guys are cool.
Well, hopefully in the face of tyranny, we can just talk ourselves out of it and vote for a better tyrannical leader. Maybe that'll work a little bit better. But thank you, guys.
It works for the
Have a good night.
Nazis. They voted themselves right out of that Holocaust. It only took a couple decades. And a war or two. And an economic collapse. Well, you know the thing. We're building back better.
Artie, do you think it's better to unattach yourself from the bullshit, from the system, or try to be a part of the illusion and change what you don't like with it?
I think trying to work on the ground to effectuate change within the system is a much better than sitting on your ass in 8-person panels, circle jerking all day.
And that's possible?
Yeah.
How's it possible?
What do you mean?
How's it possible?
by advocating locally, like starting from the ground, building a coalition, working with your local government, and moving up from there.
Yeah, but that requires voting and stuff.
I know. I'm in favor of the establishment. I'm in favor of working within the system. I'm not these guys who like the fuck the system type of shit. That's my ending. I think you can actually do work and be able to effectuate change that way, rather than just circle jerking about how everybody sucks except for us on panels every day.
Yeah, just to be clear, I'm not doing that, so I don't know who is doing that. There might be other people doing that. There's no we here. There's no collectivization here. There's no us and them, only to delineate the experience. So, contrary to popular belief, I and others do work here. We do co-create. We do create value regularly. We do have a livelihood and a living that we all engage in. And we also encourage the system to be used as it was meant to be used, to uphold our rights, not to force us into safety through fascism. So nobody's here saying fuck the system. Nobody's here trying to override or overthrow the system. We're simply using the system for what it was meant for, while the rest of the inauthentic, weak corporate beta males use the system to take power over strong men who they can't compete with or equalize with in any other venue, is what's happening.
Wait, well, hold on. If the beta males are able to take power, what does that say about the alphas?
Again, I'm saying that the folks who are potentially powerful and have a spirit and power in them have been deluded and duped through the idea of culture and society and what's proper. So I'm not necessarily calling them alpha males. The presumption that because we talk about beta males taking power over other folks who have a potential to have inspiration and empowerment does not preclude that they are the alpha males. You have beta on beta action, right? Obviously, the alpha males.
There are no alpha males.
No, obviously, the alpha males technically would be the ones who decide to operate off the spirit of the supernatural creation and do what's true and what's right to them, regardless of the collective and the consequences potentially heaped onto them. It's called true leadership. It's called true embodiment of actualization and realization. It's called responsibility and accountability. What a lot of folks in and of the system lack. They can't respond properly in truth, and they can't account for their responses. They're too busy parroting their mind and heart control and their policy and process. That makes no sense.
Well, no, I was going to say that your statement makes no sense. If you're saying that the alphas are all about engaging in and are exemplars of true leadership, when you are also advocating for a pure individualistic self-sufficient ideal, then the alphas would the alphas want to, if alphas are all about leadership, wouldn't they be the ones to try and get power so they can effectuate that leadership? If not, then they don't sound like good leaders to me.
Is getting power. Only an inauthentic corporate beta male would see power as something you had to get. When you understand power and inherent hierarchical power and value dynamics, you understand it's already part of you. That's part of the reason that you're an infidel and godless person. You believe power is something you have to acquire and get. Power to the folks of faith is something that you have only connected to God and to the creational spirit and force. If you don't have that experience, you wouldn't know it. So our power.
So atheists have no power?
Source. Excuse me?
So atheists can never have power in any shape or form.
Atheists typically don't have power because they submit to the world's authority, so they lack personal choice and free will. A being who believes in something outside of themselves and the world, a creational force or spirit that works in the world but is not of it, they submit to that power. So it makes them unable to be manipulated and suggestible to the powers that shouldn't be in and of the world, right?
Can't the religious person also succumb their individuality and be part of a collective?
Yeah, the collective is quote unquote God's kingdom as it's described. I'm not a religious person, but I will use the scriptures and the religious language to communicate an idea in consciousness and awareness, if that makes sense. So what they would describe as a kingdom of heaven is a communing with a higher sense of self where we do what's true and what's right under God, and we forsake the consequences in and of the world, knowing that this world is run by another collective. it's called Shaitan and it's legions, right? I'm just giving you the archetypal religious language. And again, I see why it's used from the beginning of time, because it tends to have some validity when you overlay it with the psychology and sociology, right? The clinical psychology and sociology. You have folks who are being avatared by their subconscious. Their subconscious has been programmed. So they're essentially demonically possessed in hordes and groups, following what folks before them have been following, aka a curse unto the 10th generation. So you have like 10 generations of slaves who don't know themselves, don't know objectively what's true and right, and continue to follow what everyone before them has done, which of course has led to nothing but the worsening of the individual's God-given rights, property, freedom, principles, values, sense of self, worth, and self-respect and personal choice. And we could go on, right? It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs with an overlay of religious language.
Yeah, and I think it's also a flow of the energy. You know, free will is only a potential. It has to be actualized. It's actualized through what we manifest here in the physical universe, right? So just having free will means nothing unless it's actualized. So to get to that step of actualization, you have to have all the other foundational elements too, that hierarchy.
Right. You essentially have to, at all times, as much as possible, come to a conclusion and a decision outside of someone else's coercion and duress, which, of course, is the antithesis of modern day culture and society. Most folks only exist at this point to do what others tell them to do because they say it's true and what's right. So most folks, by proxy of that dynamic, are unactualized and unrealized. They've never really made a decision of who and what to be in their life outside of what the collective has shown them and told them.
Yeah, the bandwagon fallacy, right? You know, everyone else is doing it, so it must be right. I should be doing it too.
All right, cover your face, take your treatments, submit all your property rights, just pay the tax, 30, 40%, just lock down, just forsake your business and your livelihood because, hey, everyone else is doing it too. Completely unactualized and unrealized, completely decadent and decayed and completely disempowered.
Comply to the illusion.
So wait, so there's no possible way that somebody can come to the conclusion that, okay, maybe taxes are valid in terms of their usage and how they're applied.
You wouldn't pay them if you weren't quote unquote forced to. You wouldn't get up every day and elect to give 30 or 40% of what you create away to someone else. I know you wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Right. So you already proved right there that it's through coercion and duress. The only reason you do it is because you believe you have to. You wouldn't make that determination on your own, and you have to.
I believe it. I believe I have to, but I also understand why I have to.
Yeah, right.
And I accept that I have to.
It's like you have a daddy and a mommy. They told you what you're gonna do or whip you, and you understand why because you're their property. We get it.
No, the county clerk does not own me.
No, they all own you. They're going to tell you what you're going to do and not do, and you're going to follow it because if not, they're going to spank you. And your world is fear-based. Your reality is fear-based. You only make all your decisions off of a basis of fear or not fear.
Wait, are you an anarchist? This sounds like an anarchist talking point.
Again, what it sounds like and what it is oftentimes two different things. It's based on the perception of the viewer, the perspective and the perception of the viewer. Doesn't sound like anything. Why can't we get to what it is?
Well, it sounds to me that
what is anarchy to you, Artie?
Anarchy to me is
about a term you just used. What is anarchy to you?
Anarchy is the non-existence of any overarching state institution.
True. You're wrong right off the bat. You guys keep repeating shit you've seen and heard from other places. You keep repeating shit from echo chambers and your watering holes, and it's not the reality of the rest of us or the etymology.
Okay, then you tell me what anarchy is.
Anarchy is the absence of masters and slaves on the equalized perspective. There will always be rules and there will always be a master because this is a created universe and there's a creational force and there's a universal law. That is what governs the individual in conscience.
Okay, so then who? So wait, so there is a master in anarchism?
Who's going to be the external mechanism to make sure that everyone governs themselves? That's where it gets crazy and scary for guys who are fear-based because you don't understand inherent hierarchical power and value dynamics.
What is inherent hierarchical power? What the hell does that mean?
It means that if you did away tomorrow with this externalized force of government that lies, cheats, steals, kidnaps, and kills in order to keep order, we would still have the same process going on outside of uniform. It would just be locally based.
No, I think that's a pipe dream.
It's a pipe dream because fascism is so profitable and there's so many slaves willing to pay for it and buy into it.
No, I think it's the problem that you're going to have is that eventually there's going to be a breakdown even of the local institutions, because there's eventually, if somebody realizes that they can do what they want without any overarching repercussions beyond their own personal strength and their ability to fight back, then you are going to have groups of individuals taking advantage of the rights of others.
Our modern day police force and government. Did you not know this?
Yeah, but there's also, we have the ability to oversight. We have the ability. There's a thing called oversight.
No, there is no oversight.
There is no oversight. There is no oversight in anarchism.
Artie, you're delusional. Because the human condition exists, humans are not meant. Because the human condition exists, humans are not meant to govern other humans, because the dynamic you just described is exactly the ends our government and policy enforcement has come to. They're accountable to
humans are not meant to govern each other.
They're accountable to nobody and no thing outside of their own power and the power of their group. Individually, they're nobody and nothing, and they wouldn't do anything they do in their groups with their legitimized system of illegitimacy. What are you saying?
I don't know where you get this idea that
angels, they're not fit to govern. Because when they get together in groups and have unchecked power, they wind up being corrupt and absolute in their corrupt power. We know that. So government is never to be trusted.
Yes, so it's necessary.
Because it can never. Listen, I'm not arguing that cosmically, objectively, the reason government exists is because people like you and the rest don't understand themselves in this universe or how to govern themselves.
No.
So we need the necessary evil to teach us how to do that from inverse logic and inverse simulation experience. But in a world where everyone understood right from wrong and chose to govern themselves and create resolution and remedy with their fellow man and forgive trespasses, it would not be necessary.
Yeah, if everybody understood right from wrong from your personal moral framework, sure, everybody.
There is no such thing as my personal moral framework.
Roses.
You don't even understand the difference between
there is your personal moral framework.
You don't even understand the difference between ethics and morality because you were too busy studying legal process at your institution rather than philosophy, civics, ethics, and morality. You don't even understand the difference between objective morality, which is loss, injury, and harm, or a debt that's unpaid, and ethics, which are personal choices. You don't even understand the difference. So why are you talking on things you don't understand the words and terms and meaning of? Because you're ignorant.
I do understand. I do understand, but you're trying to say I'm
ignorant and you're arrogant in your ignorance because it's got you a paycheck for so long and false validation from loser failures who are beneath you in your mind, right? That's why you find yourself here, because I'm such a formidable adversary. You know that regardless of all your degrees, that I outrank you and outmatch you and outclass you in every venue, verbally, intellectually, mentally, emotionally.
I don't know where you get the idea that word salad means that you're better than me.
Artie, that's a common default that you guys do in your weakness is these throwaways, word salad. Just because you're very slow on the uptake, just because you're not able to keep up, just because you don't know the meanings of words and etymology does not mean I'm doing word salad. It means you're slow. It means that you have a lower consciousness and awareness. It means you're not as self-educated as you would like to believe, right? I know that's a potential blow to your ego if you didn't just ignore it and write it off as me doing word salad. If you actually considered what I was saying right now and saw the truth in it, it would be a blow to your ego. It's not, because you'll default to your ignorance and your arrogance within. See, that's why it doesn't affect you.
Am I allowed to talk now?
Molly Boy just did word salad. He spoke words that had no meaning and when put together made no sense.
You like to use the mute button a lot.
That's a great deception in game, Artie, but it doesn't work with the rest of us who can keep up, right?
Putting me backstage all the time.
Hey,
putting me backstage all the time really doesn't really help me. It really doesn't help you out.
The volume's really loud, Artie.
Again, you presume that I'm looking to help myself out when in regards to you, and that's not the case. I'm either going to create content and be heard and put forth what I'm saying, or I will just throw you out or remove you, right? I'm in no necessity to have you here. You
absolutely.
being here at all really doesn't help me other than to be the inverse of the content, to provide the perspective of the typical worldly, inauthentic corporate beta male who plays passive-aggressive power games and then gets upset when any kind of control or power is exerted.
You seem really mad.
I'm not mad.
I kind of noticed that. I kind of noticed that you use a lot.
That's more passive-aggressive games where you're saying I seem mad, right? So now I put you in the back again. Because you want to play passive aggressive. Now he leaves and runs because he didn't get his way.
Well, wait, man.
So because he couldn't flip the power and control dynamic by pointing out that I'm passionate about truth, also mad. When that didn't work, right? He ran because he never goes directly at the competition and the combative beingness. He does passive aggressive tiptoe around it and fake yawns like Talcott. And tries to detract and obfuscate and then project that others are doing word salad. No, that's all you, right? You seem mad. You seem bitter and resentful. You seem unrealized and unactualized. You seem like your hairline is receding more and more each year as we go by. You seem like the one who needs neon lights and a whole bunch of show and style and crap that amounts to nothing because you're a vapid man and you're an empty suit. You're a talking head online. And the only reason you have an audience because there are a bunch of tards out there, even more low conscious and awareness than you, who look up to folks simply when they have a legal degree. That's how pathetic most of this society and culture is. That if you go get a piece of paper that says, I'm officially indoctrinated, mind and heart controlled, a whole bunch of other rabble slaves will look up to you immediately. That's literally where we're at in the fascist state. So it doesn't elude me. It doesn't preclude me from, putting forth who and what we all are and commenting on it, or just allowing you all to be who and what you are and surrendering in faith, right? I don't need you all to change for you to be better for yourselves. You'll either do that or you won't. If not, you'll be subjected to everything that extends off of your conscious and awareness or lack thereof. If you think, feel, and act thoughts and feelings and actions of a slave, you'll be treated like one the more as time goes on. You fail to think freely and individualize and actualize and realize and come to know yourself and what the meaning of being human is. If you cease to do that, you will only suffer and then die. I'm totally for it if that's what you have a will to do in this life and this creation. It's just not mine. That's all you need to understand. Because it seems that I'm a great source of confusion for a lot of these folks. Right? It seems that they're in chaos, confusion, or that I'm maddening for them because they show up here every so often or every day and they wonder, what's Paulie Boy doing? Why is he doing it? Doesn't he understand? No, I'm there with you. I'm beyond it. Recognize the wages and the consequences of being a free-thinking individual, actualized, realized man in this realm. You may have to experience some pain, some tests, some challenges, some incarceration. You may have to be put to death before your time. That's the story of human history. Let me know when you folks finally rouse yourself and wake up from your hypnotized state and start to recognize who and what we are and have always been and where this is going.
I don't know. I'm already pretty tired.
I know. Most folks are drained and tired. They've been incarnating life after life. Just dead in the heat of fascism and oppression, repression, depression. And they're the source of it. That's what's so maddening to the individual. Everything you hate and don't like that drains you, you are the source of simultaneously. What a motherfucking paradox, huh?
You can only get so far.
You also got to look at the insignificance of Farty and his crew. Is that they really try to become something of significance where they don't have the creative or artistic sensibilities to make anything or create or generate any kind of change or benefit for anyone but themselves in the form of a paycheck. So
right, what is let's be real, right? What is a person like Artie actually going to do if he's not a part of the legal society, pushing papers day after day and repeating their crap that they've filled his head with? What else is he going to do other than get on a pair of skates and potentially bring me a hamburger and french fries at Sonic? Seriously. I mean, I'm not demeaning folks who work at Sonic. There has to be someone for every position in the community, but someone like him doesn't have a servant's heart. He's not willing to make less and serve other people. He'd rather make more and serve the devil, like most folks in this culture and society. If I can get 100, 200,000, suck dick every day, be involved in evil and just be ignorant and arrogant about it, hey, I'm better off. It's all
We
about
still got
me,
hopium.
I. And you're tricked right out of position. And there goes your culture and society right along with you. Because everyone around you's just like you. They
You
think
still got
I'm
the
the
hopium.
dummy if this broadcast one day ends and I'm one of the people I talk about and I have to go work at Denny's and I have to serve Tribe or someone else their meal every day. I'm not above it. It's not
I have a
beneath
question,
me.
Paul.
I'd rather go work for $12 an hour and serve moons over my hammy, even though I don't like the idea of constantly eating these animals. I'd rather go serve someone or something outside myself than my own perverted, deviant ego and false sense of self and be part of a collective undoing of the human experience. That's how not egotistical and narcissistic I am. I can't say the same for the rest of you. And it's embarrassing. So point me to your sign and your car and all the rest of your debt and all the things you think you have while you've already sold out your soul. You're already deep into the fascism and the deviance and perversion, and you don't even want a way out. You laugh and snickle and giggle, and then you hang your head in shame. You got to watch that there. I said gigger. That'll get me in trouble with Brian O'Shea's new
You said the N-word?
American community over there. They're saying,
No,
what
Geiger.
the fuck
He
did
said
he just
Geiger.
say? A gigger?
Real quick.
Dude,
does
are you
Concho
Artie's
know
brother by any
how to
chance?
talk? Because I noticed that he's only been communicating via flashcards.
Yeah. That's his mic doesn't work. His tech is off. So he's decided to resort to the old ways of carrier pigeon or flashcards.
Okay,
Well,
I
that's
wasn't
like
sure
a
if
new-
he was trying to teach us like a history lesson here, or like.
No, that's a new. We're taking it back. In order to go forward, sometimes you got to go back. We're going back to
We're
like the
downgrading
silent
it.
era of
We're
broadcast.
downgrading it.
Can you full screen me
Hey,
and
Paul,
then full screen Kidro to see the resemblance of Artie and Kidro? Is kind of strange. Are you guys related by any chance?
No.
I also
No,
believe
it's part
that
of. I told you, and I'm not going to insult Kidro. You guys are going to start with him when he's being. He's not doing anything. He's not even disagreeing. He's not causing any problems. And then you want to right away start insulting him. And then you're going to make me sound insulting by telling the truth that I just told you something about this creation has like this emulation property where you start to all look alike based on the ideas that you hold and how you live. It's some bizarre assimilation program. And I'm not being insulting, and I want to pull these folks out of it if I'm able to. They might pull me in while I'm trying to pull them out. And I will come out the other side looking like an Artie Kidro amalgamation. And then the assimilation will be complete.
Well, Paul, you got to look at the Farty Club and his little cohorts there. You know, there's a boring, uninteresting group of people to be around, I'm sure, at their parties and everything else that they do. Whereas they come over here, it's like kind of out of Wayne's World, where they came backstage at Alice Cooper and his band before the concert.
I want to stop you right there. You're aware that you're aware that you might be doing it again because there's a large portion of this audience that'll say, "Tribe, that's you." Boring, uninteresting, monotone. That's you.
Well, good for them, but I'll be backstage with the band talking about etymology and the archaeological and geological significance of Milwaukee, where they were playing, and then the peons that come in that don't get the foundations of why you're doing anything in the first place in a creative sense, a generative sense, they'll be like, "Oh, we are not worthy." So I kind of see Farty and his crew and the Wayne and what was his buddy's name in that realm.
All right, give me a final word, man. I got to get the hell out of here. We've been spending too much time on the metaverse, and it's pure insanity. It's going nowhere.
A lot of times when I come up here, it's just pure insanity, but I like it. I'm just like, yo, just ride.
Yeah, you got to
the wave.
look at that. If you're
Just ride
thriving
the
in the
wave
midst
of
of
chaos.
insanity, you might have something to look at there. Although that might be a good quality. If you can thrive in the midst of insanity, then you'll be at home in this world.
What do you think
I'm
of
just used to coming to
Klaus
this
and-
channel and then being like, I wonder what chaos is on today.
Right. Let's
What do you
view
think of
the slaves
Klaus
and their.
Joey?
Come
B
on,
looking
man.
at-
Final words, Penal. Don't do this. You're going to try to drag it out. More passive aggressive games that you like to play. I asked you over an hour ago, or no, how long is it? Time is really like flying now. And by that, I mean the opposite. Whatever the opposite of that is, it's dragging. So we're only 3 hours and 39 minutes in. That means I'm only 39 minutes over, but it's felt like a lifetime. I got to tell you, between Artie and just, the legal lawful conversation and just the complete lack of vision, inspiration, empowerment, understanding.
Lack
It's
of
fucking
vision,
draining, man.
that's why I wear glasses.
Right. It's draining. That's why I've left everyone and everything behind at some point, because just being around them and having to interact with them is fucking draining. It's not enriching. It's not nourishing. It's not like inspiring. It's just like, it's like beating your head against the wall. I'm the fool, right? I continue to let them in here and spew their insanity and put their foolishness on display while claiming it's me. And then I try to argue with them, proving I'm the biggest fool here over and over again. And I do it all for the benefit or the enjoyment or the entertainment of the audience, really.
Here, Paul, trust me. When I heard Snafu start going off, I'm like,
that is true. You're right. You might have me on that one. I got some good competition with Snafu on who's the biggest fool here. Again, it's easier to fool folks than it is to convince them they've been fooled. And if you argue with a fool, he's doing the same.
Well, Paul, let me give my final words here to give everyone else that cue. He who judges a fool is himself judged a fool. So on
you're
that, I'd
saying
say
the judger of the fool is the fool of the judger?
no, that he becomes judged the fool by his act and his intent of trying to judge a fool. That's
But no one should ever judge someone, or else they become the fool.
Well, they set the judgment for themselves by their act. You can't hide from the truth. So by the act, it's and if you witness it firsthand, that's about as close to the truth as you're going to have is the firsthand witnessing. And
right, the wise man uses discernment, God uses judgment. So they're connected, but they're not the same.
Beautiful. So, all right, great segue, Paul. I want to give the cue for everyone to.
All right, bye. Get out of here. Get out. Let's go. I got to get out of here. I got to eat something. I haven't even eaten yet today. It's almost 5 o'clock.
Tacos.
All right, Kidjo, get out of here. We love you. You're Artie's nephew now. You're Artie's twin. That's the new narrative. So tomorrow, I want you to come back and just pretend that you're Artie. Just do the whole broadcast as Artie.
I need cats in order to do that. I also need a giant neon sign and a law degree.
Great broadcast today. Well, then give me shit, man. DeCastro's already up to like 50K just for getting locked up. I've done that over and over again. No one gave me shit for it. So immediately right now, here's our paid sponsorship, right? Like I heard yesterday on the classic music. I ride through the mountains now and I listen to classical music. I must be maturing. I'm softening in my old age. This broadcast with the Asylum participants is listener supported. Thank you for being here and tuning into the sounds of Unslavia.
Listening to Paul's broadcast.
Right. The guy must have said last night, like, listener supported like 15 times in 10 minutes. They're really desperate for cash up there. They're like, this fucking music and this broadcast is listener supported. If you wish to donate, there's 5 ways that you can do that. And they just went down the list every 10 minutes. So folks are hurting nowadays. All right. Economy's bad. Inflation's up. Unless you bought silver or cat coin or did anything I told anyone to do over 2 years ago.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Thank you, sir. Get the hell out of here. This broadcast, along with Chile de Castro's relief fund from jail, his attorney fund, are listener supported. Goblin.
If I sue my parents over signing over my birth certificate, I believe that's as far back as I can go.
Oh, no, you can go further back than that. I mean, judging by the way you presented here at times, you could sue them for just having you. I mean, that caused loss, injury, and harm.
Yeah.
You definitely have a claim there.
Yeah. And my question was, even if I do that, well, I know it sounds insane, but if I do that and they award that, am I still able to challenge that system if I've been removed from it?
you're not removed from it. You're just you're realigning yourself and your perspective with it. There is no removing yourself from it in a sense. You're just creating the distinction that, hey, I have a person. I use it to do corporate business. I have a citizenship. I use it for benefits and privileges from the U.S. corporation. I am not the person. I am not the citizen. I have those things for beneficiary purposes, to benefit from them until they become a detriment to me. At that point, I drop them. They are tools. They don't define you. You're not in it. You're not of it. You're part of it in the sense of it extends off of you. They're tools and extensions of yourself. They are not who and what you are, and you're never completely in it, and you're never completely out of it, if that makes sense.
It does. I appreciate that. I hope you have a good day, man.
I appreciate you, Goblin. So yeah, we kind of got to make the distinction in our mind that the majority of these things are tools or extensions of self. They don't define us, whether we're in the venue and using it or we're out of the venue and not, right? It's like putting on a hat and taking off a hat. Go ahead, Snafu Snaps. You're flashing like a madman in the back.
You would have brought me up before you let him go because you told me to find timestamps and this and that. And last night, not only
Oh, here we go.
No, I put it in your chat. Last night, Goblin was talking shit, saying you have not taught anyone anything. Okay, you don't show anyone anything. And again, they were talking shit about you, how you do your channel and what you do. So Goblin, you dumb fuck. 1 hour, 48 minutes. It's on Illuminati Tommy's fucking channel. I just put the timestamp in your fucking shit. But last night, Goblin was telling everyone how you have not shown anyone shit. And again, he was going on the trail of.
He's entitled to his opinion and perspective. If that's his perspective.
He told me to come with timestamp, this and that, and he did it again last night. So fuck you, Goblin. Even on my deathbed, the crew's watching all you scamming little fucks.
Well, there you go. Even on Snafu's deathbed, he's dedicated to presenting the truth and not defending the enslaved one and Unslavia, but coming to the defense of the honor and dignity. He's defending the honor and dignity of the enslaved kingdom.
And he went into detail how you don't teach anyone shit. Goblin did.
Well, it's kind of weird. If I don't teach anyone anything, why did he just ask me questions to learn?
That's why I was like, fucking damn. He just left because I got the time.
Listen, you know what? I'll meet him. I'll meet him on that claim. I'm not capable of teaching anyone anything. That's clear because I've had to speak the same thing over and over again thousands of times for folks to even begin to consider it. So he might be right indirectly. It's not even possible to teach anyone anything in this realm. You can just show and speak. If they get it, they get it. If they don't, they don't.
That was just the tip of the iceberg that came out of Goblin's mouth during the stream. That's all I'm saying, Daddy. So, anyways,
Okay.
I'm out. I'm out of hospital. Fuck you, Pedo Pogos.
Well, I'm going to choose to not live in anger and hate for me, regardless of what anyone on here in life says about me or projects onto me, especially if it's not true. I'm choosing that for me.
No. These guys say a lot of shit about everyone, not just you.
Oh,
They're
well,
Pedo Pogos.
if it's not true, then who cares? I'm not going to let it poison me and my body. Nope, I'm done poisoning me and my body and my life with the toxic projections of others that are untrue. It doesn't serve me.
Video and timestamp are there. All I know is
All right, I got it. We're done. I'm done. Tomorrow, I'll bring it up tomorrow and I'll play it. But I'm not gonna. I will not choose to feel some way about it.
I just thought it was funny. He'd ask you for advice when just last night he was saying
You got Jack Talcott, man, to go see. I'm sure he's on still. Z, someone go holler at them. Go get them to change. Go get them to figure out the error of their ways if possible. I'm done with them too. So I'm gonna go ride around, get something to eat, look for land, and live my life to whatever that consists of.
Are high, and to freak, you're fucking fucked hard.
Right. Are you gonna be here for my birthday slave day celebration, Snafu, which is 13 days away? We will celebrate the 35th day of the enslaved one. I never thought I'd make it.
If I'm not dead, I'll be here.
I'm going to throw a party, but you got to bring something. You could bring that clip maybe. Everyone's got to bring something to the party. You can bring that clip. We'll snack on that. Think it's good. All right.
I'll bring something worth it. I just got to think. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Fuck
All
you,
right.
freak.
I'm even thinking about having Jack Talcott host my birthday bash celebration. My born day / birthing of my corporate person day celebration. We celebrate the day that I was brought into existence as a proclamation, as a prophecy, as the wizard says, Jeremiah 1:5, formed in the belly to be brought forth as a prophet unto the nations, to differentiate legal and lawful, and a whole bunch of other things, it would seem.
Born into a spell of illness. Don't forget that one.
Right. Spell the whole thing. Jeremiah 1:5. It's there. I can see that, oddly enough.
Yeah.
And also the person too, right? The corporate entity, the fictitious entity that was created for us to do magical fiat business, just to exist. Fascinating. All right, get the hell out of here. Freak, you're done. Freak is done. You know, you're so done right now. Get out. Come on. I love you, but get out. Seriously.
Yeah, Artie, come back next time. You know, don't run. Just stick around.
Fuck Artie. Artie can fuck himself. He's a fucking infidel slave, coward, weak bitch, liar. If he's okay with me feeling like that about him because it's true, not because I feel that way, because it's true. That's the sentiment. Right? I'm centered in self, and my mente is telling me that those things are the case. Now, if he can compel me to think otherwise, I'm willing to listen, but still no, still nothing. I've thought about it. I've sat with it. I love Artie. I care about him as a beingness, but he's so smug and smarmy, an anti-Christo. Okay? That's the only way I can put it. He's just so deviant and worldly and nihilistic and focused on his own personal gain and aggrandizement of his non-personality, right? Like every one of these guys who have no other career or no other talent or skill or ability other than sucking Satan's dick for a paycheck, they come on YouTube and all of a sudden they're a star, they're a personality, they've got something to say. No, that's not me. Quite frankly, yes, it is. But not for the same reasons, okay? I just lack ambition and motivation and will. I never wanted to be or do anything in this life. So it was perfect for me that I was fit to be a broadcaster. That's my talent and ability and skill. The word of truth, communications, intel, intelligence. That's where I thrive. But yeah, pretty much not fit for anywhere else in this world. Completely different reasons than Artie and the rest of them.
I don't know, man. I think just because you had a bad, maybe bad last experience at a festival doesn't mean that you wouldn't be super fit in at festivals as a possible, route for more on the ground.
I never said I had a bad experience. I said I had an amazing experience, and that I'm thankful and grateful for it. It's just that they wanted to lie and bullshit and play games after the fact, and still have not created any clarity with me on what happened.
Yeah, where was that at by you, Southwest?
Sean, you're trying to keep me here again indirectly. You're like doing small talk with me about festivals and shit. Didn't I not just tell you 10 times, final word, I want to leave out of here?
Yeah, you definitely
You really don't respect me or my time at all, do you? And you contribute little to nothing to, like, I could die right now. Like, what have you contributed to this broadcast and what I've done? I just
brought tons of new people. I mean,
tons of new people?
I would say.
What, those 8 fucking rainbow wearing tards who stare at the blacklight posters and take DMT?
Well, there's them. That's just a few.
Those people would have found their way here anyway. They're lost and confused. It's only a matter of time before they bump into everything that exists on the internet doing nothing else.
Yeah, I mean,
You always got to make me like, you always got to be passive aggressive and then make me get aggressive and offensive. You guys always pull it out of me.
You tell me how to be more.
Why do I have to throw you out and ask you to leave more than 5 or 10 times and give a final word? Why do you end every interaction? This is the love you never got and completed with your father. This is what you all do. You have some unresolved thing with your mother and father, and you project it onto me. You transfer it. It's transferred onto me. Like, daddy, love me. I passively aggressively don't respect your time or your wishes. Just love me and talk to me. I'm like, no, Sean, I love you and care about you, but I got to move on with my day. I've had enough, and you're not respecting that, and you're not. It's like indirectly showing you don't love and care about me the same way I love and care about you. Like how I tell you stop doing 12-hour broadcasts and falling asleep online. It's not a good look. Like Christo says, you do the opposite. You try to keep me online for 12 hours and destroy myself, my broadcast, my body, and quite frankly, whatever's left of my credibility and reputation. And I haven't already actively, willfully destroyed myself by acting like a complete clown here half the time. You get what I'm saying? Just let it go, man. All right.
Yeah, the freaks wanted me to eat a dick now and stuff. Man, all right, the freak.
Yeah.
Get
See
it out
what
of your
happens?
imagination, brother. Get out of your imagination and your, you know, wishful thinking, sir. Please, please. That's the facts, allegedly. So I've been told. All right, yeah, I got shit to do. You're right. You're right. I don't expect you to drag it to 4 hours and 20 minutes. Because
Come on, man. Go clean your room. We're not playing schizophrenic number obsession games. It never matters what number we land on, okay? That's for the schizophrenic delusional people like you, not me. And I don't want to become that. So please.
All right. Well, instead of passing through to someone completely worthless tonight, if I am live, then pass through. Please, sir, I could use your help. It's the least you could do.
The least I could do? Would I owe you something now?
Yeah, you can come
by
on,
allowing you to be here and giving you
can tell
benefits
me
and
how I
privileges.
can make better use out of
Wow,
my
this is fascinating.
time.
It's like you know what? I'm throwing you out now. It's beyond fucking offensive, right? I've already showed up at this terrible broadcast before with 10 people watching. Wasn't enough. It's never enough. I let them be here. I let them promote indirectly. I give them all the benefits and privileges and the love and care and the information, everything that I am. I give it away day after day, forever, freely. What do? They turn around and say, the least you can do is give me more. Amazing. Fascinating. Astounding. Sean Talcott. I think we found Jack's son. All right, I'm out of here, people. I'm done. It's seriously. You got to look at it. It's pure insanity. It's complete personality disorder and dysfunction on all levels. I'm not just saying that because that's me and I want to say everyone else is that, because it might be that also. Let me be completely Hank with you and candid. But seriously, we got to look at this. Something going on here. Something bigger going on here. Talcott was right. God or the devil's using us. And it's a mirrored inversion. Okay? It's a perception deception. An inversion diversion. Man, that jazz music is nice. I got to incorporate that more here. See, Pineal, you had me fucking distracted here. I didn't even do what I was supposed to do. All right, I'm signing off. Moment of silence for all the pathetic slaves out there that continue to vote and pay slave tax, and sell out their souls and their power and personal choice like the freak and others. Yeah, we salute you. Takes all kinds. Really, there's a couple kinds, I think. 2 kinds. It takes all types to make this simulation work. Please remember that Unslavia and in the broadcast of Unslavia is listener supported. Okay, listener supported. Go to I'mAslave.com. 5 different ways to contribute and support. If not, I'll see you folks next time. Mazel from out west. Back tomorrow, as always, 12 to 3, MDT. Don't even know what that means, MDT, but you do. You can look it up if you don't. And that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say. I love you. If you don't love the truth back, go fuck yourself. Oh, really? So I love this game. Oh, really? So we have like corporations running around calling themselves policy enforcements, municipal corporations, municipal courts, and they're doing their own thing. But you're watching me, someone's watching you, and someone's watching them. And they're watching me do nothing wrong over and over again. Continue doing what I know is true and what's right with a conviction in my heart, not doing anything unlawful. Your policies and codes don't matter to me jurisdictionally. And I look forward to a day that comes where you just cut all the bullshit with yourself and everyone else around you. I just may be one little piece of a bigger story here. That's fine. I'm in my lane playing my role and position. Paulie Boy's like a modern day soap hero because he just sticks to the same story and keeps doing what he's going to do. When we get him alone, he don't change. There's a bigger program and plan happening here. What they call the white hats. Yeah, I'm one of them. Nice to meet you. There's a standard of truth that has to be hit here if you want my respect. If you don't hit it, you don't get it. Everyone knows where they stand with me. Knowledge of self is knowledge of the universe. I don't need to know other slaves who don't know themselves to know myself and therefore know them in the universe. You got to do and be something to get it. You don't see where the self-control, the responsibility, accountability is at? So I love this game. Nobody's going to bullshit me with their excuses. I've been as low as the lowest life out there. So you're not going to bullshit me. If I could make transcendent, transformational change in myself and in my life, well, then anyone else can do it. This is about self-reflection, self-awareness, self-insight, self-actualization, self-realization. If you want that, you'll get that. I'm not on some egoic timeline here. You know, and life is what happens in between making plans. So, you know, I've been planning and hitting goals on certain levels within myself and outside myself. At a certain time, 3 to 5 years from now, right? When I'm in a different situation, I'll have different opportunities, I'm sure, come forth. An option. If not, oh well, I surrender that as well, right? Love who and what you are and what you're becoming, and your fate, right? Your path in life. So do your best to choose a fate that you can love.
God of all media.